Alright, we are live on
But
Twitch.
you can still.
Then there was this mod called the something Skyrim mod patch or whatever.
No.
And it puts all
Give me the
old
control
glitches
of the fucking camera. Our couch looks like shit.
Yeah, well.
back. Well, if I lean forward, you can't see it. Some of it.
So today's topic. You weren't even fucking born yet.
What, for Waco? No, I was not.
Oh my
It
god.
was 2.
Oh my god.
Makes you a fucking dinosaur, doesn't it?
Oh my god. Shut the fuck up.
Tell me, how was the invention of dirt?
It was great and we enjoyed eating it.
That explains so much.
So, okay, to be fair, I was only 8.
8 years old is still enough to remember a certain amount of shit.
Yeah, I vividly remember watching it on TV. Not necessarily the whole standoff point, because that was kind of boring for a kid, but watching tanks burn down a fucking building, yeah, that was pretty cool.
I can imagine.
Especially to an 8-year-old.
Yeah, in fact, this is what I remember here. The engineer vehicle. But
Hey, we have a camera that can zoom in now. We can actually show video.
Yeah, you can
We
actually do this to it now.
Yeah, we
But
can actually
the
show
thing that
camera.
pisses me off about Waco,
Fucking knife.
I will stab you with said knife.
I don't doubt that.
Just not on camera, boys.
The thing that pisses me off about Waco is all the Second Amendment people use Waco as the government will come and try to take your guns. Okay, we've done Ruby Ridge. Ruby Ridge is a valid...
This was a
Argument.
little bit different.
Right, but Ruby Ridge is valid. Using Waco as a defense for the Second Amendment,
Completely fucking wrong.
completely... David Koresh was a cult leader
Yep.
You know?
and a pedophile
Oh, absolutely.
and just plain fucking crazy.
He also had a silver tongue, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, I will defend the Second Amendment with my life. Starting with, let's get rid of the NFA of 1934, which, let's face it, any gun law is an infringement on the Second Amendment. Oh, God, that felt great.
Stop being foul.
But using Waco as an example of Second Amendment rights is just plain fucking retarded. Yes, I said it and I will die on this hill. Come after me all you want, because I got plenty of guns and ammo.
Now,
I believe it.
Waco, what a lot of people gotta also remember is this is the Branch Davidians. Not to be confused with what was their parent, so to speak. The Davidians were originally
Hey,
Ayo,
how's that moose? Bitch.
these guys broke off. The Branch Davidians broke off from the Davidians.
He ended up marrying some 70-year-old fucking preacher lady of the Davidians, took over the church, ended up creating his own...
Pedophile ring.
Hey, you know what? You keep it up and that's going to happen. Ended up creating his own cult. Married half the women there. Ended up getting half of them pregnant. Ended up sleeping with half the men's daughters. Because he was a pig.
Yeah.
And I think it started with, of all things, if I'm not mistaken, him ordering hand grenades. Yes, M67, either M67s or the precursor to that, which would have been the pineapple. The pineapple ones.
When I
Through the fucking post office.
Mistake number one.
when I
Yes.
did
If you want illegal shit, don't use the post office. Just saying.
when I went through and did all of my research I could not find a lot on the actual cult. The only thing I could find was that they are often confused with the Davidians. They are actually a splinter group organized in 1955. Was when the Branch Davidian was founded. In 1955. By Ben Rodden. Following the death of the Davidian founder, Victor T. Houghton. Houghton founded the Davidians, a small Adventist reform movement, in 1929. 6 years later, Hoffman and 37 of his followers resettled 2 miles from Waco, where they established the Mount Carmel Center. The community flourished there, growing around 90 people by 1955. Hoffman had complete authority, viewed by his followers as the only person who could reveal biblical secrets about the end of time. So they were a doomsday cult.
So how do we go from 1955 to 1993?
Give me a second.
I know.
I'm. Among his teachings, Houghton stated that he would not die, but would lead his people to Old Jerusalem, therefore to heavenly Cana.
Heavenly what?
Canaan.
Canaan.
Because of this, Hofstadter's sudden death at Hillcrest Hospital caused by heart failure.
That is a biblical fucking city, and you grew up in the goddamn Bible Belt. How do you not know that?
Because I grew up in the one city that doesn't actually belong to the Bible Belt.
And the thing is, they have an entire movie called West Canaan, Texas, and it's spelt the same fucking way.
Anyway. Came as a huge shock
with
to
the best
Davidians.
fucking soundtrack from the 90s.
The loss of their leader led to the instability.
Varsity Blues.
The instability within church organization leadership, along with the formation of several splinter groups. So, it started with the death of the original founder, is where things kind of started going to hell. Started going to hell in a handbasket. Prior to his passing, Houghton had appointed his second wife, Florence Houghton, to lead the Davidians until the Lord chose another prophet to take charge. Under her leadership, the community sold their property near Lake Waco for residential development, resettled in 1957.
This is what it was. We've been saying we were doing Waco for the past 2 weeks.
No, we haven't.
Maybe if you answer your text messages more, or pay attention to your text messages more, or listen in more, you wouldn't have this problem. Why? Do you have something for us, sweetheart?
That is a terrible Southern gentleman.
I know.
Anyway.
I'm doing it solely to piss her off.
She's not Southern.
She's not Southern, I am!
I know, but she lives in Virginia. She might as well be Southern.
People in Virginia are not fucking
They're
Southern.
not Southern!
At all.
Virginia is in the South.
South. It's
Is
the
it
East
south
fucking
of the
coast.
Mason-Dixon line?
It's
Mason-Dixon
the
line.
East Coast.
Virginia was literally the capital of the fucking Confederacy. It is in the South.
If it's south of the Mason-Dixon, then
It
it
is-
is considered in the south.
It is south of the Mason-Dixon
Mason-Dixon.
line.
Then it is considered in the south.
Okay, well, technically, she lives in Fort Meade, right?
No, she lives in fucking Virginia. I have her address.
But in okay, well,
It's in Virginia.
It's literally right there by fucking Fort Meade, isn't it?
It's still in fucking Virginia.
Okay, but that's like all the way up.
Maryland is actually considered part of the South.
I don't count that shit.
Anyway.
Maryland
Hey.
wanted to secede. but it was the 1st Michigan Infantry Volunteer Regiment that actually got to Washington, D.C., and then sent to Baltimore to convince the Maryland governor not to secede from the Union, because he was like, oh shit, there's people here.
Do you want to know
I'm
how
sorry.
we got from...
Did you mention that they were part of the Seventh-day Adventist Church?
I haven't gotten that far yet. Because they ain't a thing yet in what I'm reading.
In the 1930s, a disgruntled member of the Seventh-day Adventist Church named Victor Hotif broken away and founded the Davinian movement.
Yeah.
And then Ben Roden led an offshoot movement known as the Branch Davidians.
Yeah. The Branch Davidians was responsible for Waco.
Yeah, maybe should have went off the History Channel one. It's still in the South. I have your fucking address. And it's pinned on Google Earth, bitch.
What's her address?
We are never going to get monetized at this
I'm not going to say it live.
Anyway.
I will show you. It's a nice house.
It fucking better be.
It's a very nice house.
It fucking better be. Virginia, Maryland are nice.
But
fucks.
she's in the cul-de-sac, and it's a death trap.
Anyway,
we're getting way off fucking track here.
yeah.
What else is fucking new? It's why it's called Shenanigans in the first fucking place.
Under her leadership, they resettled. They sold their property near Lake Waco for residential development, resettled in 1957. They resettled 941 acre farm located 9 miles east of Waco, near Elk.
What is so funny?
Which they called New Mount Carmel. Florence and the other leaders predicted an immediate establishment of God's kingdom on April 22nd, 1959.
I didn't think I did anything.
They called on members to gather at New Mount Carmel before that date, which coincided
Oh, it irritates me.
with Passover. About 900 gathered, but when signs did not appear, the Davidians began to disperse quickly. Whilst the gathering took place, Benjamin Rodden, a former Seventh-day Adventist, yeah, if you'd given me a second, I would have got it.
I was helping you. Stop being a bitch.
Who had accepted the teachings of the shepherd's rod in 1946, announced that he was the sign that the Davidians were seeking.
Without the shepherd's rod.
The failure of the prophecy depicted
I know somebody who needs a shepherd's
desiccated,
rod. I can't help it.
discredited
Fucking die.
Florence, and a small following looked to Rodden as their new prophet. Thank you.
It's his fault.
As their new prophet, Rodden's Branch Davidian claimed the new Mount Carmel property, which was now 77 acres. Rodden centered his teachings on the significance of the restored state of Israel, which would be a sign of preparation for Christ's return to earth. I did not realize this was going to tie in with today's current political activities.
It usually does.
I'm not going to read all of this. You were told not to pass away. But essentially, they still exist today.
Well, yeah. There's still a church.
They also still live in Mount Carmel.
Well,
Is what they call Mount Carmel anyway. But that's a little bit on them. But I love how everybody's on their phone.
no, I'm actually looking something up for Anthony.
For me,
Yep. Because I save everything. I don't delete shit.
But I asked you for information on it. You didn't give me shit.
We have plenty of information. We have like a stack of fucking paperwork.
What
And
I can't really find a whole lot of information
honestly,
on is
we're afraid to
the
ask
cult
you for
itself.
information because the information that you could or could not give us on it could or could not be classified, and we don't want to get you in trouble. So that's why we don't really ask you for information, because we're not sure what information we can or
I'm
cannot
going with
ask
what
for.
I found on the internet.
you'll find a fucking document that should have a shit ton of at least 30,000 black lines, redacted lines through it. And it's not
Yeah,
gonna
you
be
know,
like
like the
that.
whole Ruby Ridge incident where it had the testimony of
Oh,
both
it wasn't even blacked out. It was just gone.
admitted.
It was all of it was just gone. But I can't really find a whole lot of information on the cult itself, on the branch.
I have it saved on my computer. I can't find it in my text messages.
What are you looking for?
Her fucking house.
But I wanted to get more information on them, but I couldn't find a whole lot of information. Cults, for some reason, fascinate me. And I have no idea why. They just kind of do.
You're weird.
Okay.
So how much would it take for you to actually come on and talk instead of just chatting? Because we love to pick your fucking brain.
But as for what we do have,
Well, I mean,
but we can't have via the internet.
pick your brain to the point where you're allowed to say shit.
Alright.
Because, I mean, as... Hey, what is that magical phrase that we all know when the government's lying? Or that we know the truth of, right?
What's the magical phrase? What now? I'm gonna show you Ashley's house, so I have her address.
Okay. So the magical phrase that we all know, because we've all been government employees before, where the government is trying to hide something, or that they know the truth of something that's either classified or they can't tell it. It's, I can either confirm,
Nor
or
deny.
deny what you're
Or-
talking about. What?
Or there's the thing is matter of national security.
Yes, that's what it is.
That's another one.
So is it a matter of national security you can't come on our show? So anyways, in 92 it actually starts, because the standoff doesn't actually happen until February 93.
Yeah, it starts in
I
February of
expected bigger,
'93.
but that's her house.
So did she.
Um,
Damn, I'm good. Oh shit.
Oh my
My
god.
God.
but it started.
Ashley, if
when-
you're watching this, I'm sorry.
There's only one viewer.
Call your cousin. Get her on the phone.
But
I sent her a text.
No, call her.
no,
No, I want to see if she go live.
no.
Okay. So basically, the Branch Davidians broke off from the Seventh-day Adventists.
No, the Davidians broke off.
The Vidians broke off from the Seventh-day Adventists.
And then the Branch Davidians broke off from them.
So why would it be considered a national security risk? Because of your...
Probably because of her job.
Not only that, but because of the security clearances that she holds.
Yeah.
What if we blacked out your face? Put a bag over your head.
You could also do a collab camera where hers is completely blacked out. There are so many different ways to do it. There are people who remain anonymous on Twitch all the fucking time. But we're not here to.
Oh yeah, I told her you got shot at, or you had a gun pulled on you.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not here to talk about that. Quit hijacking it.
Nah, I'm shooting at you.
What a bitch.
But once again, it starts with the ATF.
The most corrupt fucking branch of the federal government.
Actually, these guys just wanted to serve a search warrant.
They're still the fucking most corrupt
They
branch.
wanted to do the same fucking thing when it came to Ruby Ridge.
Just like they fucking passed a little policy or some bullshit, which is not even fucking law or whatever. You can't sue the ATF because it's circumventing taxes. I'm serious. They said you cannot sue the ATF because you circumvent taxes.
How do you circumvent taxes?
I have no fucking idea.
If it's one government entity that needs to be abolished, it's the fucking ATF. Or just get rid of the firearms part and just go with alcohol and tobacco.
There are more crimes related a year due to alcohol and tobacco than there ever will be with firearms.
Make
Just saying.
it ATW.
What's the W for?
Weed.
No, that's a DEA.
Yeah, there we go. Why do we even have the ATF when we have the Drug Enforcement Agency?
Because DEA actually
Because
has the
DEA
fucking
takes-
clearance to operate off of American soil. DEA can operate inside Mexico.
So then why do we have the ATF?
To operate inside.
Yeah.
Why can't we have the DEA operate both on American soil, which they fucking do? What?
Oh, I know.
What is the DEA? The fucking CIA equivalent of the fucking ATF?
No, probably. I don't know.
So what is the whole fucking point of the ATF other than to make law-abiding citizens' lives fucking miserable? Because apparently that's all it's good for. And creating clusterfucks like, I hate to say it, fucking Waco, because it was a clusterfuck,
Okay,
and
just
Ruby
because-
Ridge.
Just because you say Waco's a clusterfuck doesn't mean you agree with using it as a Second Amendment. Waco wasn't wholeheartedly a fucking clusterfuck.
It was a clusterfuck because the ATF started it.
Yeah.
The
This-
ATF
what was it,
only
a
starts
52
at
fucking day standoff?
51.
That and because of Janet
51
fucking
day,
Reno.
It was 51 day
51 day
standoff.
standoff? No standoff should take more than fucking 48 hours. If you do it right. Just saying.
Have you met me?
And I can guarantee you the SWAT will end the standoff with you in 48 hours.
How?
Guaranteed.
With a bullet to the fucking head.
I'm just saying,
Exactly.
they'll still, in 40 hours, it shouldn't take no 51 days to
Okay,
finish dealing
and
with
that would come out into a PR nightmare.
Oh, I'm sure. But I'm just saying.
With this one is the reason why this one does not work, like you said, as
She
a
answered your question, by the way.
Yeah, I know. I've already asked.
Oh, okay.
You were calling Ashley when I was fucking mouthing off to her.
the reason why this again does not work for a Second Amendment argument is because had the ATF gone in there purely just for the firearms, yeah, but they used the ATF as cover.
Oh, the scapegoat, 100%.
Yeah, the ATF.
This time, the ATF, they were just trying to go through making sure they were actually trying to do their job correctly. But
For the
because
This
first
is
time.
probably the only time
But-
I'm going to actually defend the ATF.
but because this was a cult setting, and there was more illegal activity going on behind closed doors that survivors have come out and said multiple times. that no, let's see. He had as many as 20 so-called wives. Sex with minors.
Okay, so here's the thing: having 20 wives, you're just insane.
It's
I can barely
living.
stand you.
Yeah, one woman is enough.
I can barely stand you.
You have fucking 20
most
of them?
days.
No, thank you.
It,
And I love you wholeheartedly. You know.
it's control.
Stop moving the fucking camera. But having sex with minors, that's just a no-no. That, I'm sorry, that comes down to your local sheriff, your state police, whomever.
Oh, absolutely. The real culprit was the FBI. The FBI fucks everything up and then finds scapegoats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What you want to do behind closed doors is fine. As
So
long as
everybody's
it's
an adult
consensual.
and consensual.
Yeah. Now,
Just don't apply that to kids. Behind
Hence
closed
the
doors.
reason
hold
why
on.
the key word there is adult.
Hold on a second. Because I want everybody's opinion on this. Because what was the minimum age of consent under the Uniform Code of Military Justice?
18.
You said it is 18.
No, it's not.
No?
If you're, well, no, because you can join the service, any
17.
service
It's
at
16.
with
16?
parental consent.
Yeah. Actually, no, it's 17 with parental consent. However,
Wow, the Coast Guard lets you join at 16.
Well,
with
fuck the
parental
Coast
consent.
Guard. I'm just kidding.
I joined at 17 with parental consent.
You can join
However-
on this night at
however,
16.
When I was in, and granted this was 20-something years ago, I'm not sure if they changed it. However, the age of legal consent
Is 16.
is 16 under the Uniform Code of Military Justice. And in most states, I'm not sure how many fucking states, I would say continental United States, the legal age of
It's 16.
consent
Is
is
16.
16.
Michigan is
There
16.
are some
Michigan is
states,
16.
For
So
some
that means-
reason,
Okay.
So for the exception for Michigan state law for age of consent is someone like me who's a fireman, my age of consent has to be 18. It has to be per state law because if you're in a uniformed service, it must be 18. You are the exception to that law
because you are considered
because
an
I have a
authority
position
figure.
of authority.
Yep.
Yes. So my age of consent must be 16. I mean 18.
18.
Not 16.
So what is it, from 16 to 18 and then 18 on up?
Well, like,
Is that what you're saying?
no,
I can't
with
do
him
anything
being,
under the age of 18.
Right, no, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
Okay,
not that you
so
would
from- if you're-
anyway,
Anyway.
that age gap is weird to you.
If
Like
you're
sexual
under the age, my current age, I'm about to be 31, but under my current age, if you are under the age of 27, get the fuck away from me.
It's considered weird to you.
I will not do anything under 5 years. Just saying. 5 years is like the absolute fucking
I think
max.
there's, what, a 6-year between us?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's only 6 years between us. There's 10 between my
The
mom
age
and
of
my
consent
dad.
law was fucking put into effect because of high school kids. You have high school seniors at 18 dating high school juniors and sophomores who are 17 and 16.
And most of that is 4 years.
Yeah. That's the only reason age of consent was put in because you don't want two high school students dating, one being 18, one being 17, and all of a sudden that's a fucking crime.
Well, not only that, but it's also seniors and freshmen.
That's a little weird.
That's, yeah.
No,
'cause
it,
most
it
of the
does
time-
happen.
You're 15 and 16 years old at the freshman level.
But see, with you still being a teenager,
But the thing is, not all. I knew some seniors who were only 17,
Oh,
and
yeah,
then
but
some
still.
freshmen who were 15.
But yeah, that's only 2 years. It's still just weird.
It depends on.
The maturity.
It depends on the maturity of when your parents put you into school, so you can get into school at an early age and graduate at an early age, which makes you younger than most of your classmates, or you get put into school later, which makes you older. Vice versa, whatever. I don't know where
Yeah.
I'm going with
There
this, but you
are-
guys understand what the fuck I'm talking
yeah,
about.
there are some
So there would be an
states where
age
you have,
gap. So
Yeah.
there would have to be a 4-year minimum because I graduated when I was 19.
and I graduated at 18.
Which means I had an advantage on a lot of my fucking senior class because I snuck off to Canada over the weekend. Because Canada has a legal minimum age drinking of 19. And I came back Monday morning, hungover as shit, and slept for the first 3-4 periods.
See, that's not that bad of an age gap.
Well, that's because you're a cradle robber, too.
18 to 16 is not a cradle.
I'm making fun of her. Let me make fun of her.
She's our only viewer right now. Don't chase her away.
I'm not... You know what? You keep on doing that, you're going to get what you wish for. You know you want this. All of this. I'm going to die tonight. So this would be my last broadcast. It's been good to know you.
Good to know you too.
Yep.
Because if she ain't gonna kill ya,
She will.
she's got fucking connections and resources that you only dream of having.
Oh, yes, I know.
And I'll get a blanket, hot chocolate, and a pat on the head and say everything's okay now. Because they both
It would be
I'm
from
absolutely
13
adorable.
hours. It would be my fucking dream. Please do it.
Ashley was telling me that fucking. Yes, I'm gonna reveal some of your shit from Ashley, so I'll yell at her later.
Just don't say her name.
Yeah. But she has the ability to call a fucking the tail number registry. One of those helicopters at the NSA at any point in time she wants.
Yeah.
Nice. That's cool.
It's fucking awesome.
I just want to go for a ride in a helicopter again.
There's no registration, so like those goofy computer programs, you can see like the flight identification of it.
Yeah, like FlightAware?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those don't show up on there, nothing. That's fucking cool.
Actually, technically, the
I mean,
helicopters...
they do, but it really doesn't really
Yeah.
say anything.
Yeah.
It's just a picture of a fucking Black Hawk. That's about it. There's no fucking registration number, nothing. And I guess they're the only government entity who's able to do that.
But anyway, circling back to
Circling
our
back.
original
Circling back.
thing.
So, anyways...
He was being found out to be sleeping with 12 and 13-year-olds.
Yeah, that's a
And
little
11-year-olds.
fucking bad. So the FBI
Yeah.
should have went in there and arrested him on pedophilia.
He
Yeah.
was
Not the
it
ATF.
Pretty much. He
No,
was
that's out of the ATF's jurisdictional scope right there. You can't arrest someone on fucking sex crimes.
pretty much.
underage
He was
pedophilia
taking
shit.
them as soon as they had their first cycle.
Well, wait a minute. Is
When
that
they become a woman.
is that FBI or is that local?
It with
It depends.
that would be local.
That would,
So long as he's not
if,
distributing.
unless he's outside of a city, then obviously that's county. But that would be more
Well, compared
county
to
level.
by local, I mean that's your state, that's your
Yeah, your state
County.
county.
that's your
The
city,
local would be city and county, state.
township, whatever.
Yeah.
But yes, technically that would be
Compared to
county
feds.
sheriffs or something like that. If they obviously can't handle the situation, and let's be honest, this is in fucking Texas, they can handle the situation. Local police should have went in there and arrested him on that bullshit and not send the fucking ATF in there to arrest someone on a pedophilia charge when they don't even have the
Well, what
jurisdiction
they
to fucking
did
do
is
that.
the ATF to obtain warrants after suspecting him and his followers were stockpiling illegal weapons, particularly after obtaining shipping and delivery records showing obtained large amounts of gunpowder. And
Large amounts of gunpowder.
So
that's
gunpowder is illegal?
hold on, and heavy aluminum that could be used to make illegal grenades or reload spent rifle cartridges.
So that's illegal now.
I guess
Because
that's like a
I
regular
reload.
fucking weekend afternoon in some people's houses.
And you're in fucking Texas.
I know.
It might have been
It's the
at
most
the
heavily
time.
armed
I
fucking
don't
state in the
know,
fucking country.
I know. No.
but that's what they originally were sent in there for. Because they
Texas
thought-
doesn't have shit on the Midwest.
Because they thought that they were stockpiling illegal weapons and illegal explosives. One of the survivors denied they were stockpiling illegal weapons. Said the purchases were for gun shows in which they sold weapons and gear. Our involvement with firearms has more to do with business than self-defense.
Again, not illegal. Unless you don't have the right permits, then it
calling
becomes
the
illegal.
gun business a good source of cash for the community.
So, I mean,
So
we'd have
it
to
is-
look up to see if they had a proper FFL.
Yeah.
Going back
I
to
couldn't find any
92,
information on it, but then
93,
again,
you're not going to
I
find it because
was
back
able- but
then...
again, they probably didn't have the best records.
Yeah.
So all that information was probably already lost within the year out. So,
If the Branch Davidian said one thing, and then I also... You have my curiosity. Now you have my attention. You're going to need more than just 22 to deal with me. You know that, right? You're going to need at least 30.
Naturally, both sides accused.
Because I'm fucking nuts. I could
Naturally,
take 22.
Huh?
I could take on 22 of them.
It depends on their past training levels.
I mean, I have chokeways. I have home field advantage.
you also have a big window.
I mean, yeah, that's a pretty big ass fucking window.
Okay, 16 prior Delta. Are you gonna seriously threaten me with Delta snipers? Okay, so she has a slight advantage with 16 Delta snipers.
And with that nice little
I know enough to stay away
fort
from
out
fucking.
there.
I know enough to stay away from fucking windows. I'm not
they look
necessarily a
Victorian.
fucking idiot.
The only place you're gonna be safe is standing in the fucking hallway.
Yeah, choke point.
You stand in the fucking bedroom.
Windows.
Windows.
Stay out of the way. Stay out of the fucking.
There's only one window.
Delta
in the,
snipers, and chances are if they're not using 308, they're going to use 338 Lapua or 50 cal.
That'll blow through these walls like nothing.
Yes. My best point is in the fucking hallway.
Anyway,
Oh, it's a chess game.
anyway,
It's a puzzle.
Naturally, both sides accused the other of taking the first shot.
Well,
because
that's the
what
thing.
always
Nobody
happens.
actually knows who fired the first shot.
I'm gonna go ahead and just go offhand and say the fucking ATF probably fired first.
Actually, in this particular case,
I would say the Branch
considering-
Davidians.
Considering
Yeah.
all the illegal activities the Branch Davidians were actually involved in that did not involve firearms, what do predators do when they're cornered?
They lash out.
Yeah.
So they probably went through and popped off the first shots. The ATF responded
Okay, I
the way they were
guess.
supposed
Am I an
to.
alcoholic? Or am I just a drunk?
You
this
just
one's
don't
mine.
know when the hell to slow the fuck
These two
down.
are still full.
Okay.
So there's only 3.
And I
Plus
only
the other 2 I had.
And I only have the one.
So in my second one.
Yet again, I'm also in severe pain most of the time, and I don't want to feel it. So, yeah.
Heroin.
But
There's our next broadcast. Why the war in Afghanistan lasted 18 years when their primary export was fucking poppy. There is a conspiracy theory.
you'll have to do more research on that.
It's like those WMDs that were never there.
No, actually, they were there. Do you really want to get me started on the WNDs in fucking Iraq?
No, I do not, because I'll be here for the next 6 hours listening to the rant.
You'll be here for the next 5 fucking minutes listening to the fucking rant because they were fucking there.
Is anyway.
Anyway. What's next on the Waco list?
Well, naturally, of course, you got the ATF and the Branch Davidians going through and saying that they fired first.
Hang on.
She's figuring it out.
Unrelated question. What's the point of the Texas Rangers? Because I know they're their own police entity, but you have local county, you have your local, you have your county, you have your state, and then you have fucking Texas Rangers. Where would the fucking Texas Rangers fall into any of this?
If chances are, if the feds were there, I'm not going to say this is what happened. This has happened before. If the feds are there, they generally take over everything. and
Yeah,
state and local law enforcement is pushed
But,
out
like-
to perimeters or just not included.
But like,
in it.
what is the purpose
the
of a Texas
Rangers
Ranger?
They're
themselves
basically like
are
a
like
mini U.S. Marshal.
they're like U.S. Marshals. They
They have
mostly
a-
handle witness protection.
Yeah. Think of everything the U.S. Marshals do, but just only in Texas. They have a blank check to do anything they want in Texas, just like the U.S. Marshals.
But they can't go outside the
No.
state of Texas.
No.
They cannot leave.
So
the
they're-
state.
they're
They do not have jurisdictional authority.
think of them as like a sub branch of the Texas State Troopers. But they handle
Witness
more your
protection,
witness protection,
Fugitive hunting.
your
Okay.
Stuff
fugitive
like that.
hunting.
I've always wondered that because I mean, god damn, they made
Walker,
a fucking
Texas
show
Ranger
about it.
is a good way of going through and showing more or less what they do.
So they are cops
They
Oh,
are
110%.
because they started, and sorry, Tism, they started as well, just like Robert Rogers Rangers. And if anybody actually knows anything about Rangers, they started out as a scout force and an elite special, not elite, but a special force, a scouting force.
Yeah,
But now they're a police force, so they're
Yeah.
a sub branch of
they still
the
have
state
all the
troopers.
authority that comes with being a cop.
But they're more of a
But they
U.S.
do more
Marshal,
of a-
but for the state of Texas.
But for the state of Texas, yes.
Okay.
They will work very closely with Border Patrol.
Okay.
They will work very closely, like Anthony
I only
said,
bring
with
this up-
with fugitive hunts.
Okay. I only bring this up because
this would not be within their area of expertise.
that's
Yeah.
why I'm bringing this up because it's like
Now
Texas is
they would be
kind of like a
involved-
country of its own, and yeah.
Now they would be involved if
SEALs are a bunch of fucking pussies, and the only ones I respect are the fucking Rangers.
now if they had somebody
I said what I said, and I will die on that hill.
now if they had somebody come out of the cult, think the Manson family, for example. How
Manson
they
family
were-
is mostly in Nevada.
Those fucking
right,
kooks.
but they weren't. But if somebody were to escape his family, which Manson was not going to let happen,
And
No,
they
he'd kill
went
him first.
into Texas.
if move the Manson family to Texas,
Your camera's moving.
it's mostly activated.
Who's in the chat?
Just saying. You might want to reset your camera.
Say the Manson family was in Texas.
Yeah.
One of the Manson children, I believe is what they were called,
God damn it.
fuck are
or
you doing?
whatever, or followers or whatever. Just
It's-
leave it alone.
I'm
Zoom in a little bit.
I'm trying to keep
All that
talking.
background shit out.
And say they went through and they left, and they left the family, and they're gonna go through and they're gonna testify against the family.
And they're in Texas, so the
And they're in
Rangers
Texas.
would have.
The Rangers would be the ones responsible for their safe house. Would be the ones responsible for their care. Would
Why
make
not the U.S. Marshals?
Because
It would be, but the thing is, this is where it kind of gets confusing because.
because
they're
Texas doesn't share.
okay. That's all you had to say.
Texas has not been known for sharing at all, if anything.
Texas doesn't share.
Stop playing with the camera.
It just said it read 9 people.
Nice.
There was only 3 viewers here a second ago. How in the fuck was there 9 people?
No, the camera said it was picking up 9 people. The silhouette thing popped up on the very top and it said 9X on it. So I think it
Probably
says 9
picking
people.
up.
10 times.
Nine.
That's the Zoom.
Oh, the Zoom
That's the
time. I'm fucking tired.
You do realize this is an old Victorian, and anything you say, like when it comes to shit like that, can be construed as we're picking up 9 different people in the fucking room.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. It's okay.
But that's what they do.
Okay.
It is
some spirit would be pissed off at you later.
She's in the other apartment.
Well, she's a pussy if she doesn't come here.
Don't fucking say that.
And she probably isn't even. I don't think she
I just
can
didn't.
leave that side of the house. Actually, she
No, no.
can, not with what.
Oh,
Not with the protections I have laid down.
where's the fuck
On
got
the
it,
corner
I
of
got
the
it.
desk.
I got it.
Thank you.
But yeah, no, the Rangers wouldn't.
How about you some fucking time? Oh.
But no, the Rangers would not be involved in a case like this.
Okay, so it would have been mostly state and feds.
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm
Um,
not taking them with alcohol. Last time I did something like that, I fucking passed out in the field in Korea.
but
Over
see,
Tylenol?
I don't know what I took. It might not have been Tylenol.
If you pass out, there's a fucking couch, and I'm not gonna fucking do anything to you.
Now,
Take some Tylenol.
I don't know how many people are aware, but there was also people from the UK within the branch Davidian.
No, I knew that. I mean, there's been documentaries since like the early 2000s on this shit.
Yeah, because he had a silver tongue. Like he
He knew
The guy
what
was
to say.
actually talented.
He knew what to
he had
say and
a
how to
singing
do it.
voice as well.
Oh yeah, and he was actually one of the few cult leaders who didn't fall victim to drugs. No, just sex with prepubescent girls.
Yeah.
Like all of the wives of everybody within the branch of divinity, within the cult, had to be his wife first. So basically, everybody got.
So he was just a fucking psychotic man whore.
No, he used sex as control,
Yeah.
Okay.
which is unfortunately usually the downside to 99.99999% of cults.
So basically, if I was in a cult and some dude said, I need to have sex with your daughter in order for you to be in my cult, there wouldn't be much of a cult left because I'd fucking murder him.
But it wouldn't be for you to
Yeah.
be in the cult. It would be, I need you to show me how devoted you are. I need you to relinquish your hold on all the women in your life. They need to come join me as my special.
Can you be more specific about that question?
But that's pretty much how the cult works.
Well, because
Your wife wasn't actually your wife, it was your wife. Your daughter was, yes, biologically your daughter, but it was also his
Hey, you
wife.
and me. That's
That
you.
that wasn't me.
No, it wasn't me.
It was me.
Oh, okay. Holy
And-
shit, I still have text me? Fuck me, I didn't know that.
That's pretty much how that goes.
Evie's 13. He
And-
lays if anybody lays a finger on my little girl, they're being blood eagled.
And she's had her cycle. Meaning now...
Can you not, like,
No,
fucking
no,
mention
no,
that?
that's...
For the love of fucking God.
That is how
No.
it is determined in
No,
a lot
no,
of places
because I don't
about
wanna
whether
think
or
about
not
it.
you are a woman. By the definition of a lot of these cults, after
No,
female
I'm
has
asking you
had
to,
her-
like, elaborate on that because I don't understand the question.
she's had her first cycle, she is now considered a woman,
Yes, I know.
regardless of her age. And some young ladies have had it as early as 9 or 10.
Yes, I know. Moving on. I don't want to think about this with Evie because she's already there, and I really don't want to go down that road.
That's how he was justifying
Yes, I
having
know.
his wives.
Yeah, I know. And trust me, if anybody touches my daughter like that, I will fucking murder them.
If you need help hiding the body, go ahead and call me.
Oh, yeah, I know. Trust me, you'd be the first one I call.
So
And her
Only
Uncle
good
Dennis.
pedophile's a dead pedophile.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Dead
not
pedophiles
just
don't
pedophiles,
reoffend.
but boyfriends in general.
Dead
And or
pedophiles
girlfriends.
Don't reoffend.
Anyone who commits CSC with a minor, criminal sexual conduct.
Okay.
CSC.
Yeah, because I'm not calling the cops.
No,
No, that's
what
what
is it?
811 's for.
Yeah, 811. Call Ms. Dick first.
And that's one thing her mom
Hey,
and
I'm
I...
building a swimming pool. Is there any lines through here?
That's actually something her mom and I have actually agreed on.
Fuck you looking at?
Now, there are some
Because Uncle
survivors-
Dennis lives in Port Huron, Uncle John lives in Port Huron, you and I live here. If I get a hold of Uncle Matt, who has a daughter the same age, guess what? We're all coming guns to bear. And Port Huron will fucking burn until I find out who hurt my little girl.
Yeah. I might have to blow the dust off my M4 for that.
You want an M4 or an AK?
Ooh, that's an AK.
You can rock with the AK.
It's fine.
I got plenty of ammo.
But essentially, what usually ends up making a cult is it's usually controlled with drugs, sex, and the Bible.
And what?
The Bible.
The Bible.
Mormons are a cult. Jehovah's
I thought it was
Witnesses.
sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Mormons.
Oh.
They're a cult. But you won't be able to get them classified as one. Jehovah's Witnesses are a cult. You won't be able to get them classified as that.
What do you mean you cannot?
Obviously, she's not going to say it.
Okay, what the fuck is she even talking about at this point? Because we've moved on from the subject that I asked a question about, and now I don't even know what the fuck she's talking about.
I think she's referring to when you said if somebody laid their hand on your daughter.
Did
No,
somebody
because-
lay hands on my daughter and you know something about it and I don't? Because
No,
if you
because
know
that-
something about
Are
that...
you sure about that? That came in when we were still talking about him with his wives, like at the
Yeah.
very beginning of that conversation.
That's when that came in.
Yeah. I really highly doubt someone touched your kid, and if they did, and she knew something about it, I'm pretty sure she
She
would
would
tell.
have told everybody. Or she would have made them disappear and you would never
No,
know.
he would never have fucking found out about it because this dude would be fucking down at the bottom of the Marianas Trench by now.
Right. That or she's talking about...
I'm maybe talking about Waco. I don't know.
Are you talking about Waco? Or are you talking about my little girl?
Probably Waco.
I would assume so.
He's not going to move on until he get a satisfactory enough answer.
Because if you're talking about my little girl and somebody touching my little girl, then you're going to see how fast I can get dressed.
I highly doubt that that's what she was talking about. Because again, like he said, it came in during the part of the conversation we were talking about.
Okay. Okay, good. Just talking about Waco.
So, because that's essentially what ends up being the downside, the downfall of every single cult. Is usually drugs, sex, and the Bible.
The Bible, yeah. They get...
Because they
fucking
set
weird.
themselves up as a god.
Yeah, look at Jim Jones.
That is a huge fucking tragedy. People want to go to say, "Oh, Waco's a tragedy." No, Waco.
Thank you. And hopefully, if something like that did happen, and you did tell me about it, I'd have,
They disappear.
you would let me
Say-
disappear them.
See,
Case in point, now, if she knew something, she'd fucking handle it and tell you after the fact, hey, this is what happened. It's already handled.
here, look, I got pictures.
I should honestly give you my daughter's number so you can keep a tab on her.
Yeah, we're not gonna give out phone numbers over the.
No,
I
I'm
mean,
not gonna do-
technically that would be legal. He is considered a guardian, right?
Yeah, I'm her legal father.
All right, well, you're
and
considered
I'm her
a
legal
guardian.
guardian.
She's a minor. If you give the number out and track her number, technically that's illegal.
I mean,
It's
it's
not
legal
illegal.
for you to track her. It's
You
legal
can
for you to
track her
track
movement
phone.
at any point in time you want. Because you're her parent. She's a minor. It's legal. There we go.
But But no, that's what brings down the cults is they get greedy. This one was just stupid. Because again, you don't use the postal service.
Problem solved.
Anyway. But no, Jonestown.
Jonestown was a fuck up in the 70s because, hey, let's drink the fucking Kool-Aid.
No.
Everything in
no.
the fucking 60s and 70s was just
Jonestown, those
like,
people
out there.
were.
Like, why, it's fucking weird in those times because it's the hippies, the drugs, everything else.
Those people were so far brainwashed they killed their kids. Did you honestly think that you were gonna get kids to drink that Kool-Aid willingly?
Just like the AIDS was
They were
government
forced
research.
down.
Just saying.
First actual case of AIDS came from 1969. They didn't know what the fuck it was.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a government plan.
No, actually, it wasn't.
We'll agree to disagree.
No, it's proven that it actually wasn't. Hold on. The actual first case of HIV/AIDS came 10 years before an outbreak, and it did not come from a straight man, or come from a gay man, who, because we got into a debate about this in our family parenting class, and I fucking proved it wrong, because you know me, I don't like being proved wrong.
Unless it's legit.
Unless it's legit. Because I love documentaries. The first case actually came from a 13-year-old boy from Harlem. 10 fucking years before this gay flight attendant and fucking Quebec actually started spreading around. AIDS was what? A government experiment?
I would not be surprised.
Granted, I would not be surprised, but the first actual case in a civilian publicly that nobody actually knew about was from a 13-year-old boy in Harlem.
Of course, what a lot of people also don't want to realize is AIDS and HIV is not just a gay man's disease. They just had the higher chance of spreading it because not many men wanted to wear condoms when, having sex with another man. Because there's no risk of
publicly
pregnancy.
or first ever? Because there is a difference. There is a vast difference between the first case ever and the first ever. But was it first public? Because the first one that was actually documented and then they didn't know what the fuck it was 10 years before the first outbreak, and the guy who actually got credited for it was some gay flight attendant. Of course the government started it. The government started the fucking crack cocaine epidemic as well. I mean, come on. They needed money for the Iran-Contra affair, and they started introducing crack cocaine in fucking South Central.
Actually, they wanted it was 100% racially motivated.
I.e. the Tuskegee experiment.
No, Tuskegee was different.
No, it was not.
Tuskegee was about syphilis.
It's still a... They wanted to see the effects of what syphilis does.
What unmedicated syphilis did specifically to black African American males.
Still government.
Yeah.
Still a government experiment.
Yeah.
That's like saying tomato.
Same fucking thing.
Same fucking
but
thing.
releasing crack and crack cocaine into the inner city was not a government experiment. It was systematic destruction. That is not an experiment. That is not a, let's see what happens. It was how many people we can get hooked and killed off.
That's
so
like
that
the
we don't
British.
have to
That
deal
is
with
just
them.
like the British introducing smallpox blankets to the Native Americans to wipe them out. Albeit a little bit slower. Same fucking thing.
It's called population control.
No, there wasn't population control. They wanted them wiped out.
Population control.
Population control.
Is
When
keeping
you want a
things down to
specific group of people or a large number of people gone, it's called population control.
No, that's called genocide.
But when the government does it, it's called
not.
population control.
Thank you. She's proving my point for me.
Yeah. I told you that the cocaine epidemic was fucking government.
Yes, it is called
It was the
population
CIA.
control. Yeah.
It was the CIA.
Did I not say the CIA introduced crack cocaine
Actually,
into
you
the
just said
intercities?
government.
The CIA is the fucking government.
But more specifically, it was the
The
CIA.
Central Intelligence assholes.
It was also the CIA who got weed classified as illegal.
No, it was not. That was actually the paper industry.
No, it was actually the pharmacy industry.
It was
Because
it was not.
They tied it
No, it was
to
not.
Mexicans. That's
No, it was not.
yes, it was.
This goes back to a plethora of other things because if you look at starting with the founding of our country, a lot, and I do mean a lot, of our founding fathers used hemp for a lot of things.
Yeah.
What does hemp stem from? Weed.
It comes from weed. Yes.
Yes. So, if you come back to...
That's a great way to describe the story.
What do you got for the FBI?
Prolapse anus.
What you got for the FBI? So the Federal Bureau of Investigation. What do you got for them?
Oh, that's funny.
I've never heard that, but that's grand. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god.
I know she's got one for the FBI too.
Holy shit. That's the best one I've ever heard. I love her. I really do.
You guys talk. I gotta.
Oh.
That was fucking hilarious.
I gotta breathe. Oh my god. Oh. That's grand. I love that. Central, I got a prolapse anus.
That
Oh
was
my
good.
god.
I'm gonna start using that now. Thank you.
Oh my god, that's great. Central, I got a prolapse anus. Oh. But no, they introduced crack cocaine, not cocaine because cocaine's been around for. No, that's what I was fucking saying. The hemp, believe it or not, Family Guy got it right. Where the whole song "Everybody Needs a Bag of Weed."
Oh yeah, I remember that episode.
Yeah, Seth MacFarlane actually did his fucking research on this because it was the lumber industry that federal bullshit on George Cats.
That's funny.
Because, I mean, if you think about it, when did weed actually become illegal?
I'm not sure when it actually.
20s and 30s.
Was it 30s? Actually, okay.
Yeah, it became illegal in the 20s and 30s. Well, it became highly frowned upon and illegal in the 20s and 30s. When the paper industry was taking off.
Okay.
When we were switching from hemp to fucking paper.
And hemp actually made pretty decent paper.
Yeah.
It's actually.
What else was going on in the 20s and 30s? The logging industry.
Mm-hmm. Also, they switched to paper to boost the logging industry because paper comes from
Yes,
trees.
it
Got
wasn't the tobacco industry because everybody was smoking cigarettes anyways.
Yeah.
The tobacco industry didn't come under fire until after World War II, around the 1960s. 60s and 70s is when the tobacco industry started coming under fire for fucking cancer.
Yeah.
Tobacco industry had nothing to do with the marijuana industry. It was big paper, the logging industry, that actually was the downfall of hemp. Because you can make rope out of it, you can make paper out of it.
You can make anything out
You
of
can make
hemp.
anything out of hemp.
Yeah.
Not only that, but what else came under fire? Cotton.
Did cotton come under fire?
Yeah. The cotton industry didn't like hemp either because cotton takes a long ass time to grow and it's actually harmful to the soil. Always touching bags, oh my god.
There's the ATF.
It was George Washington Carver, after the Civil War, who introduced peanuts to the South.
Okay.
And crop rotation to basically rejuvenate the soil from the cotton industry. But it's hemp that you can continuously grow
Yeah, you can.
after crop after crop after crop after crop and not really damage the soil.
I'm not
Right.
mistaken, I believe it's a nitrogen fixer, too.
Yes, it's a nitrogen fixer. However, it's the paper industry in the 1920s and 30s that started making that push legislation to make weed illegal, not tobacco, because tobacco didn't become under fire until the 60s and 70s from lobbyists for cancer, not marijuana.
No.
Anything to fuck everything up. Yep, that's the ATF.
No, there were ads run in the papers about connecting weed to Mexicans.
No, there wasn't.
Yes.
No, there was not.
All the way down in fucking Texas. Yes.
When?
There fucking was.
When?
I don't remember exactly. Give me a second.
Because the whole thing against weed started in the 20s and 30s against hemp.
That's
Because what can
it
you
was.
make hemp from? What can you make hemp out of? Clothing, paper, rope,
Yeah, I'm
everything.
aware of that.
Okay? However, what is paper made out of?
Trees, wood,
Wood.
What was big in the 20s and 30s?
logging.
Yeah.
Think about what I'm trying to tell you.
They
Yeah,
outlawed
it was
weed, so
also-
hemp couldn't come out, so people had to buy paper made from the trees to
And
boost
guess
the
who
logging.
teamed up against hemp? Cotton and wood.
Yeah. And down in the south, down along the Mexican border,
What
They
grows on the Mexican border?
they
Cotton.
They linked weed as a drug to Mexicans as a racist thing so they could get rid
Doing
of the
everything the same.
Mexicans.
Yeah. And who made those campaigns?
I didn't say the campaigns weren't backed by anything. I just said that was one of the many other things that came under fire. That's
Right.
all I'm
But
saying.
this came out in the 20s and 30s.
Yeah,
it
that's
wasn't.
the
I'm saying it wasn't tobacco who did it.
I didn't
it was-
say it was tobacco that put it under fire.
No, you did.
No,
Yes,
I didn't. I
honey,
said
I love you.
medical.
No, it was not medical. You said tobacco.
No, I did not. I
Did
did
she
not
say
say
tobacco?
anything about tobacco.
I plead the fifth.
Fuck you.
There's your guys' argument.
I did
Staying
not
out
say
of it.
anything about tobacco.
I'm just getting pissed at the new federal retirement age.
Nothing safe anywhere. And that's your own acronym.
Fucking new federal retirement age, fucking 67 years old.
Keep working, bitch.
I'll eat a bullet before I get to fucking 70 years old. phone, you know.
That one do it quick and painless, sir.
Mine ain't gonna be that much fucking different. Still gonna hurt a lot.
Anyways, going back to Waco.
Yeah, let's just get back to Waco. Just fucking with the camera again. Knock it off.
Hurry up, I gotta pee too. Because you're drinking alcohol, you fucking retard.
Hey, guess what? We have a second bathroom.
That requires moving the camera.
Not really.
I would have to pick up the camera up. I don't remember what stage of Waco we were at.
The very beginning. We hadn't gotten very far.
We're still at the beginning. We're an hour and 10 minutes into it. Holy shit, this is shenanigans.
Yeah.
Anyways, he was a polygamist, and he was diddling little girls. So yeah, it should have been an FBI case at this point in time in history, not an ATF case.
It should have been an FBI case from the very beginning.
Well, no, it should have been a local case at the very beginning, not a fucking ATF case.
No, unfortunately, the ATF got used in this one.
So, my question is, when did that fucking cunt, Janet Reno, come into play? Because she's always a cunt, always will be a cunt, and no matter what you say, will always be a fucking cunt. Because she did not believe in the Constitution at all, whatsoever.
Well, the only thing I printed out on her, that I got distracted, was she was the first woman attorney general. I couldn't find a whole lot of information on her. So, I'm not surprised.
And let me ask a question. And why not?
Because like 99.9% of her shit's been buried. Or classified. Same diff. Buried, classified. Can you bring me one?
Huh?
Can you bring me another tea?
A lot of Waco is classified. No fucking shit.
Yeah, you can't find a whole lot of information on it.
Waco and Ruby Ridge both were classified by the government.
Because both of them were major fuck-ups.
Yeah.
Gee, if the government fucks up, it's classified. But when civilians
There you
fuck
go.
up, it's everywhere. Tell me that's not a double standard without telling me that's not a double standard.
Oh, it's absolutely a double standard.
110% of double standard.
The government leads with a do as I say, not as I do.
And we're supposed to trust the government with everything that we have?
Fuck the government.
No, we're not supposed to trust the government entirely.
There's no more three persons better equipped to not trust the government than prior service.
Exactly.
We've seen the lengths they'll go to cover shit up and to hide shit. More so you than me or her, but still.
And the reason why I said we're not having a conversation about WMDs in Iraq is because, yes, they were there. However, and we got to get off topic for a little bit. What is the definition of a WMD?
This whole thing's been off topic.
It's always going off topic. What is the definition of a WMD?
Mass destruction.
Anything that can be used to harm a boatload of people. Mass destruction. Harm a boatload of people, level 6.
What is your definition of a weapon of mass destruction?
Well, do you want my answer? Which
Yes.
Is decentralized answer? You want a liberal answer?
A liberal answer.
A liberal answer, a WMD would be classified as a rocket or a nuke. My answer would be like, no, a weapon of mass destruction is anything you can fucking hurt and kill a shit ton of people.
So
Doesn't have to
their
be-
answer would be the whole fucking kit and caboodles together. So that would be the Scud launcher, the rocket, and the weapon, and the warhead.
That is a weapon of mass destruction.
Right.
Everything
However,
down from the tires to the rocket in itself.
he had those.
I'm sure he did.
However, were they all at the same fucking location? Absolutely fucking not. He had the rockets at one site, the warheads at another site, the chemicals at one site,
He
and
did it the smart way.
yes.
That was the smart way
So,
to do it.
by technicality,
He did not have that.
Technicality, they
he
weren't
had
there.
weapons of mass destruction.
But they were
By
not
definition, he
assembled.
had weapons of mass destruction. Now, were they assembled?
No.
No.
So technically, if you want, this is where you
By
can
a
argue the
definitive
point.
answer, he had weapons of mass destruction.
But if-
By a
that's-
fucking uneducated, liberal, cocksucking answer, he did not. And that is where the differ comes in.
Speaking of
What? Liberals or weapons of mass destruction?
neither,
Okay.
I just remembered a story a few years back of this dude who bought a, I think it was in Turkey, bought a decommissioned T-55 from Iraq.
Ooh.
Fucking just bought it and went to fill it up with, its fuel and realized it was draining fuel really quickly. Dropped the fuel tank and he had 103 gold bars stashed in the fuel tank of the Iraqi tank.
That would not surprise me.
No, not at all. I was like, why the fuck can't this lucky shit happen to me? Like another one, this dude bought a couch from fucking Big Lots. Inside the couch was $50,000 stuffed inside the couch. Why can't this
That's
shit happen to
okay.
me?
One of our generator mechanics found a gold-plated AK-47U.
Did he keep it?
One of our generator mechanics
Did he keep
found an gold-plated AK-47U in one of our generators
So he
in
found
our
it right.
mortar pool in
Oh.
Iraq.
So someone hid it there thinking they wouldn't be found.
Yeah.
Somebody
Did he
found a
keep it?
bribe.
No. You know why? Because General Petraeus,
General who?
Petraeus,
Petraeus, okay. That's,
or AKA known as General Betrayus, because he's a fucking cocksucker, said that you can't bring home war trophies anymore.
fuck that guy.
A gold-plated goddamn AK-47U. You know how much that thing is worth?
At least a few thousand.
Yes.
I don't think I would have called that a war trophy since it was found in a generator.
It's gold-plated.
That wouldn't make it a war trophy.
Yes, it would have. By very definition, that is a
No.
war trophy.
Because he did not get it as a spoil of war. It was found.
It doesn't matter. He couldn't bring it home. They had to destroy it.
But it was found. It was not taken off of anybody who was dead.
It doesn't
Did I
matter.
ever show you the fucking thing I found in my grandpa's basement?
Your grandma's strap-on?
Gotta
You
watch
know
that
you
one.
set yourself up for these, right? Yeah. You sold it, too. Knowing goddamn well I wanted that fucking armband.
I got like $900 for that.
And now it's going to sit in some private fucking collector's goddamn thing and not do anything when it could be sitting right there on my fucking wall and I could brag about it.
Mhm.
And every time you come over, I could play Erica.
Anyway, circling back.
Fuck Janet Reno.
And I'm not saying
And fuck the Clinton administration, because this whole thing was bungled underneath the Clinton administration during a time when, guess what? Our asses are being shot off. March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October. 8 months later in fucking Mogadishu, because Clinton and his fucking jacking off fucking getting blown by Monica Lewinsky underneath the fucking resolute desk is saying, no, I'm not going to give you gunship support. And 18 Americans come home underneath the fucking American flag. Says no. So, fuck them. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. Anytime a Democrat is in office, shit hits the fucking fans.
Damn.
I'm fucking jealous.
No!
I'm fucking jealous.
No! I want that desk so bad.
Resolute desk is absolutely gorgeous.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
yeah. Beautiful craftsmanship. Isn't there only one other desk just like that?
Yes, there's
it's
twin
two
desks.
total.
It's a pair of twins.
One is
One's
sitting in
the Oval
One's in
Office
White
and the
House
other one's in Buckingham.
Palace.
Okay, that's what I thought. Man, I just want to go on a tour of the White House.
You can do that.
Secret Service would fucking shoot me because I'd be like, I know what that is, I know what that is, I want to touch it, I want to touch it, I want to touch it, I want to touch it. And it'd be like, get this guy the fuck out of here.
Actually, they would look at you really confused because you'd have on toddler harness.
Yeah. With her whole release, and they'd be like, man, I'd be like, nope, he will go into someplace you don't
She
want.
would
I
have
promise
to-
you this is not a kink. I
She
promise
would
you
have
this
to-
is not
she-
roleplay.
He would end up fucking knocking a vase off a pedestal or something, or breaking something, and then you go sit to see how much it costs. Like, oh, that vase was $22 billion. Or some stupid shit.
And I would be sitting there explaining to the Secret Service, actually, no, it's not the real vase. It's a reproduction because the real one's actually
It's in a vault somewhere.
It is in a vault someplace. This is a fake. Don't fucking try to play me. Your guys are full of shit. Meanwhile, the president comes around and is like, what the fuck is the problem? I'm like, your Secret Service guys are full of fucking shit. Don't try to play me. And I get in an argument with the president.
But
I don't think you'd get into an argument with Trump.
Do you want to bat? Have you met me?
you absolutely would.
You get my tism going. I don't care who it is.
Okay.
If I'm calm and rational, yes, I'd have. What do you call it? Star-studded, Starlock,
Starstruck.
Starstruck. Yes, but you get my tism going. I'm chewing everybody out.
You're a golden retriever.
You got a hot date or something? It's only 6:30.
No, his watch is going off.
Why am I getting a fucking fire run for open intox?
What?
What is open intox?
Open intoxication? Open intox?
It's kind of self-explanatory what open intox is. Open intoxication, which means somebody's fucking drunk sitting around a goddamn fire. Which sounds like a...
Oh, because he put out a fucking blunt in the grass and caught the grass on fire.
That
Oh
sounds like
no,
an idiot.
because somebody has it.
Oh
caught-
no, right next to the rec center. Go out there with a bucket of water and put it out. You have a fucking 300-gallon swimming pool.
Piss on it.
Oh, that. Jesus fucking.
That's what I would have done.
Burnt up your drink.
Like, why does everything gotta be the fucking fire department's problem?
Actually, I would have probably gotten in trouble for pissing on it because at that point at the rec center,
Indecent
it's
exposure.
indecent exposure. But hey, I put out the fucking fire.
Hold on, I saw the fire from here. You just using a different type. I saw the prompt. I just used a different type of
Circling
hose.
back to the whole getting an argument with Trump thing, can you imagine what this guy would be like if he got a fucking tour of the fucking Pentagon? A fucking disgruntled, disabled veteran specialist walking around the fucking building where the most pencil-pushing officers are at. Can you imagine how he
Oh,
fucking
God.
reacts?
I'd be chewing everybody out. I don't know why I'm here. You guys are a bunch of fucking morons who don't know how to do your fucking job. I can do your job better than fucking sleep.
Babe, you'd be stoned.
I would have to be
The
stoned in
one-
order.
Between all the fucking buildings, like screw the White House, screw the Pentagon, the one fucking room I want to see in is the NSA's Emergency Operations Center.
She has the power to do that.
I highly doubt she'd fucking let me in there. One, she don't even fucking really like me. Two, I don't have a security clearance. And I had a top secret security clearance in the Army. Compartmentalized, but still.
Same here. How did you and I actually end up with the TS top secret compartment?
I'm fueling aircraft.
That's right.
And you were a mechanic.
Just because I'm in the Army doesn't mean my job would be just the Army aircraft. I fueled Air Force too. But that was a whole nother fucking process to jump through for my commander to tell me to do that.
But my thing was, everybody wonders because my security clearance was actually higher than my battalion
Because-
commanders.
Didn't you like fucking install the countermeasures for IEDs on? That's why. You had direct ties into the electrical systems of these vehicles.
Electrical systems, yes, but the ECMs themselves were experimental.
Well, that's why it would be classified because they were experimental.
So
Like, I was sitting on the fucking runway down at Humphreys, and after a bunch of fucking hoops to jump through and shit, me and my fucking first sergeant fueled up a U2. We fueled up a U2, and to be that close to a U2, you need security clearance. So I mean, that was the one-time thing, and he said we're never fucking doing this again.
so you got the touch of you too.
Just the wing, yes. It was really warm. It wasn't even cold. It was warm.
I got to sit in the cockpit of a Apache.
The Kalamazoo Air Zoo?
No,
No,
in theater.
no. And the Kalamazoo Air Zoo, the dude let me sit in the cockpit of the SR-71.
Fuck you.
He said I couldn't take a picture, but I was allowed to do it. I don't know why.
Why? There's pictures over the fucking internet.
I don't know. He said I couldn't take a picture. Of
Okay,
sitting in it.
okay,
Probably
so
because
this-
he wasn't allowed for me to do that.
So
He
this
just
doesn't make
fucking
sense.
was.
When I was working for GDLS, I wasn't allowed to take pictures. And I raised the question. So you're saying we can't take pictures on our phones, especially if I build model kits of them, and yet, stop zooming in, you're scaring me, and yet, you have soldiers
Posting TikToks and
posting
shit
TikToks
the cabs
inside the fucking vehicles.
Shall we
Well,
take a quick?
Yes.
Yeah, because your dog can't figure out how to get out of this little position.
All right, we're gonna take a.
There
brief,
you go.
We're gonna take a brief intermission.
We'll be right back.
we're back.
Oh, if camera's just focused on me now. I'm glad you think I'm that good looking.
Break my fucking camera.
Sorry, we have puppy dogs that.
There you go, that'll work.
Alright, so career update from NSA Beauty.
Presidential Emergency Operations Centers as of now. That's awesome, right?
What's the Presidential Emergency Operations Center?
That is the bunker under the White House.
So does that mean she gets to fly on Air Force One?
Yes.
Yes.
She would be one of the few people on Air Force One.
Does that mean she gets to fly on kneecap?
Fly what?
Kneecap. E4B.
I don't know. I just know the President's Emergency Operations Center is fucking that bunker under the White House. That's all I know. And that most of those people do, in fact, get on Air Force One. God, I wish I could get on Air Force One.
That's
People wish
E4.
they could get on to Air Force One.
I don't want on Air Force One. I want on that E4.
Probably. I mean,
Because there's only 2 of those in existence.
oh, did you see the Doomsday plane took off?
Yeah.
The that's not news.
I'm just saying. I know it's not news. It's
There's
took off.
one
Naturally,
in the
everybody on
sky at
TikTok.
all times.
But naturally, TikTok is.
Oh, I didn't say it was big news. There's one always going somewhere.
That's been going on since Operation Chrome Dome. And that's been going on since the 1960s.
Oh yeah, they keep putting in the air at all times.
Yeah, that's the whole point of kneecap.
But of course, you got people who are on TikTok who don't know half the shit they're fucking talking about.
When they have the power of the internet at their fingertips.
Everybody used to go through and say there was a lack of information, lack of access to information is what was making people, stupid.
You can't blame praying mantis for this one. Oh, not praying mantis, mockingbird.
But now that everybody has access,
Hold on. I corrected myself. I said praying mantis to begin with. That's not what I meant. I meant Operation Mockingbird.
but people don't want to look at. They don't want to go do their own research anymore. They want somebody else to do it for them, and then they'll just blindly believe it. And they're usually the ones going through and yelling at those people who have gone through and have shown scientific evidence of why the sky is blue, for example. But because one thing contradicts the sky being blue, the people who haven't done their research are going to follow that the sky isn't blue because one person said it wasn't. And they refuse to do their own,
Maybe that
I think
person that
it's
said
supposed-
this guy that...
I think it's supposed to be raised.
Is that supposed to be rated or raised? And by raised, they mean going from 4 to 3 to 2 to 1.
I'm aware of how the DEFCONs work.
Well, 3 to 2?
Yeah, we're currently DEFCON 3 right now.
We've been. I don't think
We've
been
been at
in-
DEFCON 3
I don't
for,
think
like,
we've been anything
months.
less than DEFCON 3 since 9/11.
Yeah, we've been at a constant DEFCON 3 for a long fucking time now. But this whole bullshit with Iran, we might go to DEFCON 2.
But that's
Fucking
about it.
sweet.
Let's just turn the fucking country to glass.
As
Get it over with.
people-
Just glass the fucking pricks, man. They were shooting at us when I was over there 20 fucking years ago. Fucking glass the fucking
As
pricks. I don't
somebody
give a
who knows
shit.
their history, how do you not know that we have not come down from DEFCON 3 since 9/11?
Actually, it's been DEFCON 4 for a while. When Iran started pulling their shit, it went from 4 to 3. 3's not a big deal.
I know
3 is not a big deal.
3 is
2 is a big deal. The last time we were at DEF CON 2 was in 61.
Yeah, we're currently at DEF CON 3 right now.
Because
Even 3 is kind of. We're not overly safe, but we're not immediately harmed.
do you know what DEF CON 2 means? On a scale. Because I can tell you exactly what happens.
It's called
at
fast pace. Ready for nuclear war.
Yeah, that means
Yeah.
everything from Kings Bay and Bremerton, when it comes to the Ohio classes, is
I know
sortie.
what it was.
It means everything
So,
from
right-
Minot and Barksdale is loaded up with nuclear weapons and launched.
So right
Into
now,
the
DEF CON 3 is the Air Force is ready to be. Air Force will be mobilized in 15 minutes. Anywhere in the world, Air Force will be there in 15 minutes. DEF CON 2, 6 hours or less, armed forces will be in that
You
country.
should face the camera.
Sorry.
You gotta get used to being on camera,
Yeah,
bro.
I know, I don't think about it. But yeah, DEF CON 2 is 6 hours or less. The United States will have a presence in that country. And DEF CON 1, fucking civilians start kissing your asses goodbye, praying to whatever fucking god you believe in, because nukes are in the air.
Which would explain all 11 carrier battle groups sortied.
Yeah, all 11. There is not one carrier in home port right now. There might be one or two. Don't give me.
They might
They would have to be 1 or 2 because that's the rotation of them.
But Ashley would probably know more about fleet movements than me or you. But
Not that she'd be at liberty to tell us anyway.
No, that's all.
No,
actually, that's all public information.
you can go right on to
USNI, U.S. Naval Institute.
Well, okay.
That's the thing about our That's the thing about our military.
Yeah,
It's all public.
more or less.
They can't tell you who's on the ships or what the ships are doing, but they'll tell you what the
But
movements
they'll tell
are.
you exactly where each ship is if you fucking research hard enough.
Yeah.
There's probably only out of 11 carrier battle groups, there's probably only one here in the U.S. right now. The rest are all.
They
deployed.
even sortied the fucking Nimitz.
Yeah, and the Nimitz is the old girl on her way out. If she's getting sortied,
And the Nimitz is slotted for retirement next fucking year.
because guess what's coming in next year?
The Kennedy. And the year after that, the
It's
Enterprise.
Well, speaking of, the Enterprise is 2/3 completed.
Nice.
I want to go see her so bad. You know, I got enough money. Let's just go down to Norfolk.
I wish.
Let's have Ashley pull some fucking
Slings?
strings
Pull some strings
and
and get
just,
us front row seats to that fucking boat hitting the water. That'd be awesome.
God, well, she's already in the water.
If she's 2/3 completed, she's probably still in the dry dock getting built. Because the hull's probably not finished yet.
The hull's finished. When they're 2/3 completed, they're already. No. According to SAT photos, they're already completed because they do them modular construction.
Yeah, it's like section. They
Yeah,
weld it-
basically
weld
what
it
it is that right now they're in the testing phase. So basically what the tickets are for is for the launch. It's already launched. It's the champagne bottle against the hull of the ship.
They better have the fucking last remaining fucking Enterprise veterans there to fucking christen that ship.
They probably.
As far as-
they probably are.
From my research, they actually have a piece of the, not the original Enterprise, because the original Enterprise was like 1798 or some fucking shit. But from
World War
both
II.
CV6 and CV65, both incorporated in
Good.
CV80.
Good. I'd put them right on the fucking deck.
Incorporated throughout the ship.
So everybody knows.
I just want to go see
Sailors
the fucking
over.
Enterprise.
And I'm sorry for not asking if you wanted to go along. I didn't think it's something you wanted to do, and I feel guilty about that. But you should know that for Ashley to ask something like that,
We've already had that
Okay.
discussion. Having relationship discussions live on air is not a is.
Yeah, for Ashley to try and pull some slings. You got me fucking saying it. pull strings like that, she's gonna call in a lot of fucking favors.
But,
Probably some favors she doesn't want to call in, but she's going to because she fucking loves her cousin and loves one of her friends.
And I will
she's
be
already
on my
de-
best
She's already
behavior.
determined that if she has a boat, we were all part of the crew. I'd be second in command.
Why do you get to be second in command?
She already told you why I was gonna be second in command.
Actually, when it comes
She's
down
got
to
fucking logic.
Because I'm the only one who can keep both of y'all in control.
Do
So
you know-
Ashley could do a pretty good job of that herself. Don't you fucking worry about
do you know
it.
anything nautical?
Not a fucking thing.
Do you know anything nautical?
I know a little, but I was never on a boat.
Yeah.
Does she
said
know
me-
you were not on the boat?
Of all the
Yes,
people
she
in
knows
this
that
room,
I'm-
who was here on an actual boat?
Does fishing count?
I walked around on our cutters. But no, she's got me. She only wants me as the.
Who grew up on
second
the
in command.
actual Great fucking Lakes?
The only reason
Who's
why
borderline Canadian?
Go fuck yourself, eh?
No, she already said she wanted to be a second in command because of my ability to go through and diffuse problems.
I'm great at diffusing problems.
No, you're great at creating problems.
Yeah.
Little column A, little column B.
It's because I have that unique ability to go through and diffuse anxiety, which you didn't even realize you fucking had until
No.
it's gone.
I know I have anxiety. It's just, whatever. Shut the fuck up.
And who got you to go to mental health?
Not you.
Yes, me.
No, I was going to mental health way before you.
Who got you onto the anti-anxiety?
Actually, that was my ex-wife.
Mm-hmm.
Right there. Levi would be the equivalent of my command master.
So
chief.
I was just saying, Ashley said I was going to be second in command. That's all.
I'm Master Chief. That's all I got from that.
I mean,
I'm
you have
Master
the
Chief.
fucking helmet.
I got the helmet.
No, you got the pieces of the helmet.
I got the pieces of the helmet, but I'm still Master Chief.
Honestly, I think Ashley just
Wait a
thinks
minute,
I'm
isn't that
adorable.
an Air Force rank, Command Master Chief?
No, it's a Navy
It's a
and
Navy Coast Guard rank.
No, I'm pretty sure Command Wait a minute. Is Ashley with... Do you know who?
Probably.
Hold on.
Yeah, Ash told her she's in charge of intel ops.
U.S. Navy ranks, images. That's officer
Oh.
ranks. Okay, fuck.
Command
Stop going
Master
on.
Chief would either be an E10, and that would be the overall, or it would be an E8.
Yeah, no, that's a Navy rank.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, okay.
Or it would be an E9. Sorry. I still have no idea how the fuck I ended up second in command, other than the fact that I guess I'm just that fucking adorable.
So, I am Master Chief.
Because she was gushing over when I had my hat on from the George Bush.
The Bush.
Yeah. And our German Shepherd thinks he's dying.
I mean,
He can.
from the moment he was born, he's dying. It's just.
Shepherds.
Oh, I see how it is. You invite Ash, but you can't invite the rest of us because you're that petty. I feel fucking like I feel like I've been bitch slapped.
Well, hi.
She doesn't love us. She hates us. She
I
despises
know
us.
she fucking hates me, so I mean.
I've known you since the birth of Diana, and I fucking hate you.
I know you
Diana's known him since the very day she was born.
And
She
she
fucking
hates
hates
you.
me. I'm just a hateable person, I guess.
But she only hates it because it doesn't have
A
a
beard.
full enough beard. And she's afraid of that. For some
Yeah.
unknown reason.
Yes, I know. Do you not think I know how to spot a tail? Do you think I'm an amateur?
How are you? You know that shoe was there. It has not moved. Yet you continuously get caught up in the shoe.
Because the only problem I have is getting guns into Canada.
That's an issue, yes.
Although it is Canada, so I could just shoot my way in.
I would strongly advise against that.
It's Canada!
The RMP is not something you really want to mess with.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, the Mounties are actually kind of badass.
I mean,
Think about it. You're trying to sneak guns into a state that has been proven to put on paper 2/3 of the Geneva Convention. You're sneaking into a state with firearms illegally into a state that uses the Geneva Conventions as a fucking checklist.
you know
Okay?
what doesn't make any sense to me? You know where the G36 is, right?
The rifle G36?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's legal over there.
Yeah.
It's illegal over here.
Unless it's single fire.
Semi-automatic over there, semi-automatic over here. It's illegal over there, but it's legal over there. Mind-boggling.
They have moose and bears.
I would probably imagine that the G36 is easily modifiable, maybe. I can't think of a reason why it'd be illegal here, legal there.
Takes the same 5.56 round as our M4s and Mini 14s.
I wish I had an answer to that.
Because you don't give your downstairs crackhead neighbor the a weapon.
Because you don't give Florida man some shit like that, okay?
Exactly.
Not my fault. It comes with a built-in three power scope.
Again, you don't give your downstairs crackhead neighbor.
Speaking of scopes and shit, ammo, I got into an argument with my brother and he's like, you wouldn't take a 5.56 hunting, would you? I was like, fuck yeah, I would.
Yeah.
The round
Isn't that
is
the
like,
standard hunting round? For
No.
most
depends on
states?
who you ask and depends on what state, really. But my brother's like, oh, really? You would take a round that would blow a head off a deer? I was like, a 5.56 would not blow a head off of a deer. It's like,
If you hit it in the head, it most certainly will.
That's something you would
It's
take
like-
hog
it's like,
hunting.
seriously? It's like, if you want to look
No,
at it,
450 Bushmaster.
it's like, if you really want to look at it, it's like, and I showed him pictures of a 5.56 round compared to a fucking 30-06 round. I was like, look at these fuckers. Look at the size of the bullets. It's like, if a 5.56 will completely blow a head off of a deer, what does the 30-aught do?
Go grab a magazine from both the 308, AK, and the 5.56, and we'll sit here and compare.
You want me to grab one of the nine? One of the rounds from my nine?
Yeah, we can fucking sit here and compare to fucking
Jesus.
one in the
Just
chamber.
round. Just the rounds,
yeah.
obviously.
I'm only taking the mags. Not fucking the chambers. God damn it. They're fucking slings.
You know there's rounds in the chamber, right?
Yeah, well, don't fucking have your slings all fucking...
Situational awareness, you dipshit.
If an AK goes off for that,
It's got issues. Here's
it's
an,
got issues. An AK will not go off to that.
Actually, comparing all the rounds does play into Waco.
Yeah, this does play in the Waco.
Now we just need to.
Get all the fucking empties all the way. I was about to ask, do you not know how to unload an AK?
Do you realize AKs are incredibly popular in South Korea?
Okay, we just need a round, which you could have gotten by taking the one out of the chamber.
Still have to take the mag out.
I'm just grabbing the mags. It's easier
Okay.
that way.
There's no... Alright, you gotta move the empties.
Taking the round out of the chamber would have been easier.
That's 7.62.
That's 716.
That's 5.56.
Move the empties. Where's your 40?
rev it
What
up.
do you have in the other one?
What other one?
Tupperware.
7.62 by 25.
Not an easy round.
Do you want me to grab the Tokarath?
I mean,
Like this.
Can
This-
we zoom in on this?
probably.
I don't know. Can we? Let me move your fucking camera.
I think that's about as close as we can get. We might have to walk up to camera.
Alright, I don't know if we can actually fucking see it. So, where's your...
It's 5.5 right there.
You may actually have to walk up to the camera and... Well, we could do this. So, this is what we're talking about. Yep, sorry, buddy. So, fucking puny ass 9mm round.
Your standard home defense round. shit like
Fucking
that.
pussy ass, goddamn, I'm a bitch, 40 cal.
Fuck off. God's caliber.
God's
45
caliber,
ACP.
45 ACP. And then your 5.56 by 4.5 standard native round. And then your 7.62 by 39. And then your 7.62 by 51. And yes, that is 168 grain bolt tail hollow point. So that's what we're talking about right now. Oh, you got it.
I have.
Yeah, like he said, this little thing. I mean, this round white, but
And that's also an M855 55 grain full metal jacket.
he was saying a regular 5.56 round because he doesn't know his head from his ass when it comes to certain types of bullets, whether it's hollow point, full metal jacket, armor piercing, all that shit. So he's under the impression of regular 5.56. Now one of these would completely sever the head from a deer, the head right off of a deer.
You would
No.
have to hit it just right and
This
turn
is
your
only
head upside
50.
down.
Hand me
and,
the two 7.62s.
Well,
Alright.
I'm just saying, like he fucking drinks the Kool-Aid that the media's feeding him about 5.56.
To get that to take the head off a deer, you gotta stand on your head and.
You gotta
yeah,
recite some fucking Harry Potter spell or some shit for that to work. The 7.62s have a better chance severing the head than a 5.56.
Okay, so this is a 168 grain boat tail hollow point. Out of my M1A, I can reach out and touch you accurately
Yeah.
at 1,200 yards. This M855 green tip, and this is what I hate about fucking movies and everybody saying, "Oh, I got green tip." You know what green tip is? Ball. This is practice round. We don't make armor piercing.
Available for civilian use.
We don't make armor piercing in 5.56. You know why? Because it doesn't fucking work.
Doesn't it not have the right amount?
It doesn't
of
have the
velocity?
oomph for it.
Yeah. Doesn't have the
Not
5.56
only
is
that-
not made to kill.
It is made to fucking wound. Because when it comes out of the rifle, and it only weighs... So when I'm talking about grainage, when I say 55 grains, the bullet, the projectile, because there's more in the neck of it than you see.
Right.
It weighs 55 grains.
And unfortunately, we don't.
So
have the
if it
equipment.
enters Anthony, it's gonna come in and start tumbling. That is why it is called a tumbling round. It doesn't come out and fucking tumble. That is a myth.
That
Oh my
would
fucking god.
Completely, 100%.
Because if it came out of the
just-
barrel and starts tumbling, it's gonna go like a good 50 fucking yards and just fucking die off.
yeah, it's just gonna fall. They're made.
It's
bullets
made
got-
to spin.
They spin, and then they get into their target, then they tumble.
Yes.
It's
And-
like hollow points.
Hollow points are made to mushroom.
Yeah, when the head flattens out like that, when it hits you, so when it goes in you, it mushrooms out as soon as it
And it,
enters that first layer of skin, mushrooms out, and it's gonna just completely fucking just rip shit apart
Yeah,
inside.
it's designed.
That is the
to-
point of hollow points.
it's made to do the maximum amount of damage to drop the fucking target.
That is why hollow points are one of the best home defense rounds you can buy.
Now, the reason I use
I just
boat
have-
tail hollow points
You just have brass tip.
Yeah.
is because if you see the hollow point here and there's a boat tail in the back, and I'll get into ballistics later, is because it is made for maximum coefficiency when it comes to ballistics. And I'll start getting into the science of it, and everybody be like, what the fuck is he talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
God damn it, stand up straight.
They don't make hollow point rifle rounds, do they?
That's a hollow point.
Huh.
It is a boat tail hollow point.
I never.
Yeah,
I
rifle rounds are
never
going to look
looked
a
at
little
it.
bit different than pistol rounds when it comes to certain types of ammunition.
I legitimately
Because what it
didn't
does,
realize that.
it creates a vortex. It creates a vortex in front of the bullet,
Mhm.
and the boat tail looks just like a boat on the back. You drop something.
Hence why it's called a boat tail.
Boat tail. And what it does, because you got the spin, right? And
Right.
it creates a vortex in the back. So it stabilizes the vortex in the front, vortex in the back. Creates maximum effective range and maximum coefficiency. So
It
basically
doesn't
what it does,
power.
it stabilizes that round to go further and faster to your target. There's a lot of science behind reloading.
But but when that round hits, does it flower like a pistol round?
It
does?
mushrooms. Yeah, it mushrooms. So basically, if this bullet hit me at 1,000 yards, it's still hitting me with the same impact force as a 44 Magnum. And that's what basically everything is based off of, because when everything was written based off the 44 Magnum at like 50 fucking yards or something like that, because the 44 Magnum was the most powerful pistol in the 1970s. So like, okay, and don't get me wrong, the 44 Magnum is
One hell of a fucking round.
is one hell of a fucking round at 50 fucking yards.
Oh yeah.
And they considered anything at 50 yards a kill shot
Right.
when it comes to pistols. So they want your God, it's been so long since I had to look this up. If Matt was here, he could. This is Matt's tism more than it is mine. If Matt was here, he could fucking give you the numbers off the top of his head. Basically, the reason why they do 44 Magnum is because everything is based off the 44 Magnum, because 44 Magnum was the most powerful handgun in the world until the 50 cal Desert Eagle, or even the Smith & Wesson 500, which is basically a 50 cal into a pistol round.
Okay.
But they want the 44 Magnum because it holds its velocity
Gotcha.
into...
Desert Eagle does to a decent extent too.
Right, but they base everything off of the 44 Magnum because it holds its feet per second. It's
Damage.
yeah, it's damage to the human body. So basically, if I'm shooting this out to 1,200 yards, they want to know what the force would be compared to a 44 Magnum at 50 yards.
That's like maximum fucking.
I can go further.
I know. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
50
So
yards is like maximum.
basically, I want to shoot this past 1,000 yards
Right.
because that's where I want to drop you, and that's me hitting you with level 3, level 4 body armor. That's either
Not body armor. Just say plates. It's easier.
plates, whatever.
Not many people know that plates is body armor.
That's why I'm saying body armor.
Whatever. All right, fine, whatever.
So if I'm hitting you with
We gotta
a
dumb things down on the
44,
street.
but the thing is, I want this to go through said fucking plates. It's not going to go through. Now, they make ballistic black tip. It will go through. Getting my hands on it, not so much.
Right.
Because it's a tungsten core.
And if you don't know, tungsten is one of the most durable and strongest metals. you can
It's
get your
stronger
hands
than
It's also
titanium.
rare, if I'm not
on.
mistaken.
Yes, it is incredibly.
This, the
Try to go
M855 and SS109, which is the most common round you're going to find for 5.56. And I hate fucking civilians because they think they know everything. This is all you're going to find next to
Stop
a...
fucking with the camera.
Yeah, I know. Civilians think they get their hands on green tip. Guess what? It's nothing.
It's just a round that's painted green.
It's just a round that's painted green. If you get orange or red, guess what? You have a tracer round. Guess what?
Oh,
Tracers work both ways. You're gonna see where you're shooting, and guess what?
The
I'm
enemy's
gonna
gonna
see
see
where
it.
you're shooting from.
Yeah.
However,
The
So I
only
can take
gun.
my acrylic paints, for example.
No.
And paint this.
The only gun that is effectively used to shoot tracers out of is a fucking machine gun. Because by the time you find out where that machine gun's firing from, you have at least 100 rounds on your position. You will not get the chance to fire back.
because every 3 to 5 is a tracer.
Speaking of, who was it? Those guys in World War II that basically built their bomber?
Old 666.
Yes, those guys. Old 666.
I can't think of their names.
But how they fucking changed up their fucking tracer belt where every other round was a tracer. So they
It
played
just
fucking
looked like Star
psychological
Wars.
warfare on the Germans. Holy, can you imagine?
Japs.
Oh, this is Japs.
Japs.
Wow. Can you fucking imagine that? What was it? B-19?
B-17.
B-17? Okay, one of those things that looks like a fucking scene out of Star Wars. Just a constant fucking lasers out of both sides of that thing. I would be scared shitless to fight it too.
And back
Especially with
then,
its
it
tail
was
number
nothing but
ending in
50 cal.
666.
Mm-hmm.
And
And don't
the
forget the
control-
little fucking foot toggle switch they added for the fucking front machine guns for the pilot.
Now, this is the difference. We use they're using 760 by 39. We use 760 by 51. The casing is
Bigger,
the
clearly.
buy. All it is gunpowder. This is a 1,000-yard rifle. This is a 1,000-yard plus rifle.
Yeah.
You get into 760 by 54R. That is one round. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to be shot at all. But if it's one round in the world I don't want to be hit by,
So it's
762 by 54R, which is the Mosin Nagav and the Dragunov.
For some
I
odd
fired it.
reason, knowing your luck.
Yes,
If you
I
were
fired
gonna
a
go
Mosin
through-
before. It's like,
They scream the Soviet national anthem coming out,
Oh,
and
fuck.
you can. Oh my God! It is one of my favorite bolt action rifles to fire, and Matt will tell you, I can turn that into a belt fed for some odd fucking reason. He's like,
What would be hilarious
fired
though
my buddy's
is
Mosin
if
is
you
one of the
are
greatest
slotted
fucking
to
things about
die
going up there.
by a bullet wound, knowing your luck, it'd be the one round you don't want to die by.
thank you
Yeah.
for jinxing me. Yeah, probably.
Although chances are anyone in the U.S. owning a Dragunov or Mosin to come after you is slim to none.
Believe it or not, Mosins are very fucking popular in the U.S.
I said coming to kill you.
Oh yeah.
Well, there's a shit ton of Mosins in the U.S. My buddy owns like fucking 4 of them. And it's even better when you go to a gun store and they're only like $200 to $300.
I remember a time when they used to be $75 fucking dollars at Dunham's.
I believe it. The one my buddy has, the one he still hasn't fired to this day because he doesn't know how it'll fucking react. The serial numbers on it actually date back all the way to the start of World War II with that gun.
Is it a Mosin?
It's a Mosin, yeah.
Is it single or double
I think
stamped?
I don't remember. He just said the serial numbers date all the way back to basically like when the Mosins were like first coming out.
You realize Mosin and guns date back to Tsarish Russia, right?
Oh, I thought it was World War II. Alright, he's got a really old fucking rifle.
Have him bring it over. I want to take a look at it now. I love Mosins. Because you know how the Germans have the Mauser?
The Car 98K. That little particular variant.
Well, yeah, they have the Mauser 98. The 98K stands for carbine. The only thing they did to classify it as a carbine was chop off 4 inches of the barrel. That was after World War I, in
Yeah.
order to keep them on. If you can find a double stamped Mauser, you hit a jackpot.
Chances are people selling that know that, so you're going to pay a hefty price.
if you can find an original Mauser 98, which means model 1898, which is when they first came out, you hit a gold mine because it's its full length.
Yeah. Weren't those things like almost as long as muskets?
Yeah. Yeah. They're
fucking like this big.
yeah.
Nah, my buddy's looking for any type of Mauser 98, really, because he wants to complete the whole, the holy, he calls it the Holy Grail. He's got an M1, Car 98, and he has a Lee Enfield.
He needs a 3040 Craig.
I will pass that on to him.
If he doesn't know what a 3040 Craig is, he doesn't know guns.
I will pass that on to him.
Because if he knows what a Craig Jorgensen rifle is, then he actually knows what the fuck he's talking about. And they got one up the shop.
He gets all his shit from Ace Buyers in Traverse City. They have they put like fucking, it's like two Dunhams put together and a pawn shop.
He needs to go to On Target in Kalamazoo.
I'll pass it along to him.
Because those guys usually carry everything and anything, and they can get their hands on anything and
Ace
everything.
Buyers usually does too. That's where he bought his AUG from.
A Steyr AUG?
Yes, he's got an AUG. Yes. I'll let you text him right now to send a picture.
Fuck, dude.
Come on.
Yeah, this guy just looks.
Yeah, he looks like a fucking pedophile.
He just looks.
Anyways, going back to
our original.
There. I'll let him know. Hopefully he'll send me one.
Like,
This
if
shit's
you were
like
to see this person walking down the
5.6.
street, what is your immediate thought?
he looks like he's seen a few up close.
He only has a face a mother could love. Because I know no one who would love that face.
He looks like he's seen a few Peters up close.
He looks like the type of picture boxers hang up on fucking punching bags for practice. Just saying.
Well, that was the leader of.
That's David Koresh.
Yeah, that's David Koresh.
I kind of figured. Not even the Virgin Mary would bless your face.
That's saying something.
Yeah, they're.
Yeah, he bought his AUG from them. He bought his Lee Enfield, his Mosin, his M1, his Galil he bought from them.
He's got a fucking Galil.
Yes, he's got a Galil. That was like
So, yeah,
fucking
between
$2,200. There.
Waco and Ruby Ridge, I have come to the fact that the FBI has no idea what the fucking negotiation is.
Between Ruby Ridge and Waco, you should come to the conclusion that the FBI has absolutely positively no idea what the fuck they're doing.
To do.
Although I'm
Because
sure
if
now,
you fast forward between Ruby Ridge, Waco, Oklahoma City, and then fast forward to the 20th century, look how they fucked up Boston with the Boston bombing.
The move bombing where they dropped a suitcase bomb in
No,
the middle of a residential neighborhood.
that was Philadelphia.
Oh yeah, that was Philadelphia.
I'm talking the Boston
The
Marathon.
Boston Marathon bombing.
They had no idea what the fuck they were doing.
Honestly, I don't think the FBI has known what the hell it's doing since they caught Al Capone.
The FBI never caught Al Capone. That was the Treasury Department.
Exactly.
And honestly, I can't tell the difference between what Al Capone was doing and the U.S. government's doing.
Al Capone was killing people publicly.
Again.
The U.S. government was killing them behind doors.
Again. Who's in the wrong? Al Capone or the U.S. government?
Honestly, if it wasn't for Capone, we
The
wouldn't
public
have-
sector or the private sector?
I thought Al Capone would be the private sector.
The private sector or the public sector?
Actually, if it wasn't for Capone, we wouldn't have expiration dates on food and milk.
Right.
He was
It takes a
actually-
fucking gangster
he
to
was
revolutionize.
actually a pretty good guy, except for
His tax evasion.
the tax evasion, the murder.
Which is ultimately why he was killed.
He died of syphilis.
He couldn't keep it in his fucking pants.
He died from a
George Rex, King
That's
George
what they want to
III,
shoot you.
had syphilis.
That's what they want you to.
That's
I've been fucking with this all the time.
That's the official cause of death
I
was
know.
syphilis in
Oh,
prison.
because it's the official cause of death, which means it's true, right? So Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself.
No, he 100% absolutely did.
All right, then. So the official cause of death doesn't mean it's true.
And
No,
speaking
he
of
died
Jeffrey
of-
Epstein, when are we going to get that fucking list, huh? I mean, you're in the
I mean,
NSA.
she'd be the perfect fucking person to answer that.
I don't think she could actually answer the question.
Yeah.
She probably can.
Yeah, why? What? We got somebody from the NSA and a fucking fuck.
In the chat, and she ain't even gonna fucking answer it. Probably
She can't
because
fucking
she
answer that because that deals with national fucking security. There's the greatest fucking lie of all time. How's
Probably
that
because
happen?
our president's fucking name is on it.
No, actually, he's
Actually,
clear in
he
this one.
despised
I don't know.
He stated publicly more times than people can
Trump's
count
in the
that
clear on this one.
he despised Epstein. Yeah, there might be a photo of the two of them at events, but those photos are 100% absolutely staged. All those press release photos, they're all staged. Which is why when people go there, go, oh, I saw a picture of these two together. Okay, did you see it in the newspaper or was it on somebody's private cell phone camera? Oh, it was in the newspaper. It's 100% staged. It's pure photo op.
Yeah, just because it's in the newspaper doesn't mean it's real.
Because there's him. They're standing shoulder to shoulder and they're smiling. Yeah, they're smiling for the press. You can smile for a picture, but still despise the person. He despised Epstein, and Epstein despised him.
You know, come to think about it, I would make the worst president ever for the press.
Well,
I don't like my picture taken.
then you can't run for office.
Is there a rule where the president has to be out getting his public
Yes, because he's a
picture?
public servant.
No, there's not. Okay, wait, hold on a second. Let's talk about something here. Yeah, we know you
We
cannot
know that.
discuss Epstein. We're making fun of you, you fucking balloon bag fucking bimbo. She's going to kill me.
They
Biden
have
has
marshmallows in my
dementia
hot chocolate.
or prostate cancer or whatever,
He's
right?
got stage 4 prostate cancer.
And they kept that a secret from the public.
Yeah, they lied to the public by going through.
That's a
and
cover.
Because prostate cancer. Prostate and colon
Wow, I'm not
cancer.
going to die over that one, but I'll die over everything else. Holy shit, her priorities are straight.
Prostate and colon cancer are two of the easiest to catch in their earliest stages. They're also the easiest to cure
Okay,
when caught in
so,
their earliest stages.
because my buddy Ralph brought up a very interesting point. Let's compare how many of you actually knew that FDR had polio?
I knew that.
I knew that one of the theories was that he had polio. Another is that he had a different autoimmune.
It was polio.
It has not been concluded. It actually hasn't been successfully concluded.
It was polio because he had polio when he was younger, and then he
Right, but
contracted
that's
again.
not what. But what they're saying is
She
second
knew.
time around
I mean,
was
I
that,
would know a lot of things if I had access to
Well,
classified
as-
material she did.
well,
Wow, you're sitting there rubbing, and you wonder why she fucking despises you,
as science
We
has
got into many
progressed,
arguments.
huh?
And, like we've gotten into many arguments.
As medical science has progressed, they don't think that the second thing that hit him
I'm gonna have
was
a fucking
another
conversation
bout of
continue
polio.
my ghost story.
Well,
They
I mean,
think
yeah,
it
I
might
can
have
see
been
that.
a completely different autoimmune.
Well, the thing that caused him to lose his legs was indeed polio.
Yeah, he caught.
What
He
killed
did,
him?
He did have polio as a child. Yes.
What
which
killed him was a fucking heart attack.
which was normal, which was unfortunately normal at that point in time. It was highly contagious childhood.
She doesn't
Billboard.
hate you.
That's surprising
But
because I've heard you say
what
it.
they're saying is what he caught the second time.
Do we need a Jerry Springer episode between you two?
No, absolutely
What
not.
he caught the second time was actually not polio for a second time, but it was a different autoimmune.
Hold on a second.
No, we are not doing this. You do this every time you hijack everything.
I always hijack everything. It's my personality.
Yes, and we're not
Oh,
doing
typical fucking female. You're saying shit you don't mean. Okay.
it. But
They're hijacking it. Anyways,
But no, they actually think he might have had a different autoimmune. As for what, they can't definitively say because the only way to confirm whether or not it was polio that he did end up having or if it was something else would be to do a spinal tap. Because
well,
his symptoms...
you
the
can't
second,
do a spinal tap now.
Exactly. Because the symptoms the second time around didn't fit
Who's she saying fuck you to?
Most likely me.
I have to pee.
the second time he got hit with polio, supposedly, the symptoms didn't
You good?
fit.
No, my back's stiff.
Need some more
Oh.
Tylenol?
No, I've already taken like 8 of the motherfuckers. I need some more Cat.
So, but the
Just
only
fucking
way to
chill.
confirm, but unfortunately, the only way to confirm or deny whether or not it was polio that hit him a second time, or if it was a different autoimmune, would be to do a spinal tap, which is now unfortunately impossible.
Just a little bit.
So, but
He's probably all complete bones by now.
but polio is I think polio is a one and done though.
Now it is with current medications.
If you get
There's a fucking
I think-
vaccine for it. That, thanks to the anti-vaxxers, has come back mutated.
that has come back, measles has come back, mumps has
Yeah.
come back.
Fucking anti-vaxxers.
Because one study that was debunked as quick as it was published said it caused autism.
so many medical professionals are like, no, that's not true at all.
So many people have gone through and said, no, it's not true, it's not true. Autism is a genetic component. Autism is genetic, it's genetic, it's
I'll tell
genetic.
you what fucking sickness, disease, whatever the fuck you want to call it, sucks. Shingles. That fucking sucks.
What?
Shingles.
I'm at risk for shingles because I did not get the chickenpox vaccine.
I didn't
I
have the
got the
vaccine.
chickenpox.
I caught chickenpox and I've had shingles.
I
Shit
have
fucking
also
hurts.
I have also had a flare up of shingles. It happened all around in here.
I had it on the back of my shoulder like,
It
oh.
burns. It itches. It's. Oh my god! You just want to rip your damn skin off.
Yeah, it fucking sucks.
We
I
thought
wouldn't know.
chickenpox was bad. Chickenpox was just itchy.
Chickenpox was just annoying.
It was just itchy. But shingles, which unfortunately
Go back to autism.
autism is genetic.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that's not caused by vaccines.
No, I know.
It's not environmental. It's not.
No, I
anything
know.
you
Let me
eat.
finish my thought, please.
100%
You're taking too long to fucking
genetic.
talk.
Because I have to gather my thoughts. Is it passed down from the father or from the mother?
Both.
So,
They have not found. It's not one of those that is attached to a specific chromosome.
but what if neither of your parents have it? How do you become autistic then?
It's somewhere, anywhere in the line. It is a recessive
So it could be
trait.
generations.
It could be generations before, because
It's something with your fucking DNA.
you could have, because bipolar, which is my diagnosis, bipolar will lay dormant for its entire life. And you can, you can go through and never once show a single symptom of it. Bipolar requires.
This is just water, by the way. It's not vodka. I hate vodka.
Bipolar requires a specific trigger. What that trigger is varies person to person. Mine, the reason why I can claim it on the VA is because mine is service connected. Because my trigger was I had a fucking E4 who got promoted to an E5 who would not leave me the fuck alone for God knows what reason. She hated me and I didn't do a damn thing to her. She pushed me so far to a breaking point.
So yours was
mine was a
stress-induced.
Yeah, it is a stress-induced trigger. Same with schizophrenia. Schizophrenia is also a stress-induced trigger. As for what the specific stress is different. But that is also diagnosed and usually shows its signs in your early 20s.
Ugh.
Late teens, early 20s.
So I've had. So you're born with Asperger's, which is.
Yes. The only reason why you now see more and more cases of it being diagnosed is because now we know what to look for.
So. And I struggled through school.
Because we didn't know what to look for.
No, my parents just never got me tested. Because there was testing in the 90s and in the early 2000s.
But see, you wouldn't have fit the criteria at that point in time. Because at that point in time, one of the criterias for getting it now is sensory issues. Sensitive textures.
And colors, and sounds,
colors.
and noises. And
That wasn't part of the criteria at that point in time.
so if I was diagnosed with autism, I would never have been able to join the army.
Exactly.
Okay.
But now you have.
So what's your excuse? Because I haven't.
I'm just fucking retarded.
Honestly, dude, I'm saying this out of love because
It's possible he's got a touch of it.
that's
I
either
don't know how
my
to know.
that's either my synopsis or you are really fucking retarded. Because I'm saying this out of. I'm not trying to be an asshole, and I know I can come off as an asshole because I do. Like, most people with a touch of autism either stay a specialist.
And they don't fucking promote to corporal. I know.
They don't promote to corporal.
I know.
That's
Well, there was a lot of bullshit that went on with my unit for me to go to corporal.
I think they needed one and he happened to fit the bill.
Yeah. And they weren't going to ask Specialist Hall, who had been in for fucking 19 years.
because he
And
was
still a
smarter
specialist.
than
Yeah.
you.
They weren't going to fucking ask him. I had just enough time in service to cover for corporal. And they're like, hey, you're it. I was like, all right, cool. Me being the young, dumb, naive son of a bitch that I was.
So
He fell for it hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah.
okay.
They talked it up so great. And I took the rank and I was like, so what am I'm getting a pay increase? Like, no, everything's just stay the same. You're just an NCO now.
It's a lateral promotion. That's why.
They didn't fucking. They talked it up.
He
so
was young,
much.
dumb, full of cum, and unfortunately full of, he had naive written over his head.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dumb and naive.
You know, when I make fun of you, it's not because I hate you or I think you're stupid. It's just because.
If I thought you hated me, I wouldn't continually
Okay.
be your friend. Just saying.
Because I honestly don't understand social interactions. I just go with the flow. You know that, right? Okay.
See, because people want to go through, and when it comes to autism and all the other neurological issues, you hear people talking about how we didn't have that back in my day.
Yeah, because
Yes,
there
the
wasn't
fuck you did.
appropriate testing for it.
Except, and then they go
There
through, and
was.
they
It
find,
started in 1930s fucking Nazi Germany, you fucking fucks.
And then,
Oh no, that is
but
that.
even even earlier. People are like, well, they didn't have this back in like the 18
Yeah,
or 1900s.
because parents are afraid to get their fucking kids tested because where the fuck would they go? Insane asylums.
They just chuck
Anything.
them into the asylum.
You fucking even masturbated one time too many a day, you're in an insane asylum.
They throw you into an asylum.
If there was something they didn't understand, the one answer, insane asylum. And then you're gone.
You just chucked them in an asylum.
You got PMS? You're going to an insane asylum.
Pretty much.
No. I went to the doctor and actually got an orgasm.
What fucking kind of doctor are you going to?
No, that's literally how they cured female hysteria.
Yeah, that's the definition of PMS.
What the fuck? I want to go to a doctor.
I could also get out of...
What the fuck?
Any doctor I've ever fucking seen was a girl and they were hot.
I could have also...
What the fuck? What fucking... Stop. What doctors are you going to and where are they at? Because I
I'm a
want to
pure
know.
emergency room.
Where
That's
do you
it.
think the vibrator came from? What do you
Break me.
think it was originally
Break me
used
right now.
for?
I want to go to the pure...
Especially because 2 of them fucking doctors walk around with skin tight scrubs on.
Are they that hot?
Fuck yes, they're that hot.
I love you, but
No.
that's a kink. I'm sorry. I gotta go.
No, fucking skin.
But no,
oh
that's literally how they treated a lot of diseases for females.
You know the chainsaw was actually invented for childbirth?
Yes. It was used to help widen the pelvic area.
That's a fucking very scary thought.
And then people
I mean,
figured out
it
you could
didn't
use it
start
for
out
trees.
as a fucking pull start.
Fucking obviously.
No, it was actually
Fucking the ICE wasn't around back then.
Can you imagine that? No, hey, we gotta widen that motherfucker.
Fucking
Grab the steel.
Fucking walk in there, Jason Voorhees style with a fucking chainsaw. Put a fucking surgical mask on, drop the fucking shield down. Move aside, I'm going in.
But that's what it was originally used. That was what it was originally designed for. Unfortunately, I don't think there's any surviving records that show if it was actually used.
The blueprint.
There was a lot of people who it did unfortunately take them so long to figure out why. It took men too damn long to figure out why, if a woman helped a woman give birth, the baby survived more often than a man helping a woman give birth, because the women were washing their hands. Men couldn't figure that shit out. They literally just thought women were better at helping to give birth.
Why does that just absolutely not make fucking sense at all?
Because
Which
it was
part?
women who went through and figured out that
The
maybe
washing their
your
hands part,
or the fact
or the men not making sense part? Because let's face it, us men as a species are pretty fucking retarded. Have you seen what we do? Women will live longer. We are walking OSHA and HR violations.
definitely OSHA at least.
But hold on a second. HR was not invented until women entered the workplace.
But women only entered the workplace because the government figured out they could tax a family twice as much.
This is true.
But they let it go because they were like, hey, we could go through and tax the family twice as much because there's 2 people working and it's a woman's idea? Hell yeah, we'll go through and we'll do it. It's all for money. I had it fucking easy
You
in the
mean like
50s.
this? Tell me one now.
Is there Roman candles on their
Yes.
dicks? And their asses?
Yep.
Yes.
This is not gonna end well, is it?
No, he's fine. He
Define
throws it at the
just
perfect
fine.
time, it just goes out. Throws it and it goes out. That's pretty cool. You won't see women doing that.
No, because we're smart.
We were in the backyard of some random fucking person's house in Korea doing that, by the way. It was the 4th of July. And we were just in a random person's backyard. We just lit fireworks off.
I remember the 4th of July in 2006. We were in Iraq.
20 years ago.
Yeah.
Almost.
19 years.
Almost.
19 years ago. We were bored as fuck. You know what we were wishing to happen?
What?
Somebody to attack us.
Yeah, I hear that a lot.
Something
from
to
these
happen.
guys over there. They're like, I wish a motherfucker would.
Just for something to do.
And that was everybody, men and women. So
Yeah,
no,
it gives you an
it's
excuse
only
to do
civilian
something.
women that are fucking smart.
No, military women are fucking.
Dumber and shit.
Yeah.
Because we had one woman that weighed like 300 pounds named.
How the fuck do you have a 300-pound...
Okay, she wasn't 300 pounds.
Anybody.
She looked like she was 300 pounds. I won't say her name online, but she had a revolving fucking door. And you know what? So did our mutual friend. I'm not going to say my battle buddy's name. I don't have her permission yet. But, you know, she knew who she was talking about.
Yep.
Her roommate got engaged like 3 different times and had a rotating door as well.
There are exceptions to the rule.
Engaged 3 times?
Overseas. Everybody thinks men go overseas and cheats on their spouses.
Oh, no, it's women
no,
too.
Women are
100%
worse.
it's
Women
women.
are 100% worse.
Oh, 100%.
Because they know they can string the man along.
Yeah.
When
Women,
it comes to manipulation
100% of the
tactics,
time, are way better at psychologically fucking with people than men ever will be. Just saying.
Yeah.
Unless a man goes to fucking school to actually learn how to do it, just naturally, women are just better at doing it.
Because we
Unless that man
understand
is
the
totally
minds.
oblivious to everything, like, you know, me, and just says
Because
fuck it.
we understand that men are controlled by...
Sex.
Yeah.
If a woman goes up to a man, offers him a blowjob for him to do this, the man's going to accept the blowjob and go do it. 100% of the time, especially if the girl is good looking.
The only exceptions to those are
Right?
gay guys.
If a fucking gorgeous 10 out of 10 girl walks up to you and says, hey, will you, do this weird, stupid, crazy ass thing for me and I'll give you a blowjob, would you do it?
Depends on what it is.
Okay, well, you think logically. So you're a bad example. You just think too
Your
much.
brain is wired differently.
You are wired a little different. The average male would say yes.
The average man just needs boobs. Not even the promise is enough. Even if it never happens, the promise is enough.
See, I'm smart. I want the fucking blowjob first, and then I'll do it.
Again,
I mean,
you're wired differently.
that's just thinking logically.
Exactly. I'm a logical thinker.
You don't always think with your hormones.
Exactly.
But 9 men out of 10 think with their hormones. Correction, 8 men out of 10 think with their hormones. when it
Because
comes
there's
to a woman.
always 20% of us that think logically.
No, because there's one guy that's gay.
Okay.
Fuck him. We're not talking about him. He's not a man.
Yeah, no. He's manly. He's just not a man.
And there goes our cue to get any type of monetization for this video.
We don't have any sponsors.
I'm just saying, like,
I can't
There's-
even. We can't even make. We are very much short on the amount of followers we need. We need at least 50 followers.
We don't have 50 followers.
But no, we but it's back to the autism thing that
And
we
yet-
mentioned earlier.
And yet, it's women who got men into trouble in the first fucking place.
yeah. We
Hey!
just wanted to fucking be retarded on our own, but then the women just had to get involved and fuck everything up. Got HR
Some serpent
involved.
said, eat this fruit and we'll have all the knowledge in the world. Okay.
To be fair, if you could see Lucifer, you would too.
Lucifer can appear to you in any form that you desire.
Exactly.
Same.
In 1969, Coppola Camaro was all serial number matching.
Yes.
I would assume it's more of a humanly form, with the promise of a Camaro.
Angels don't have.
Camaro first, motherfucker.
Angels don't have an assigned gender. They have a gender they prefer.
And that is why Satan will never win over me, because he knows I can't defeat that motherfucker with logic, because he wants his payment up front.
Are you talking about Satan or are you talking about Lucifer?
Little column A, little column B.
Because they are not the same entity.
Whatever, don't get technical on me.
Actually, I'm not convinced that the serpent in the Bible isn't Loki.
Isn't Loki like the god of like troublemaker or some
He
shit
is
like
the
that?
he is the
He's
god
the god of
he's
mischief
the
in
god
the
of
Norse
mischief
mythology.
in Norse mythology. There is a theory that makes a lot of sense when you look at it.
Well, this
Very
is
well
fucking
fucking
a long time ago.
At the end of Ragnarok, there is only one god left standing. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
At the end of Christian
I haven't
Revolution,
seen Ragnarok.
at the end
Talk about
of...
the movie?
No, Ragnarok in Norse mythology. The end of the world
I
in
don't
Norse
know.
Actual
mythology.
I know
Norse
nothing
mythology.
about Norse mythology at all.
At the end of Ragnarok, there is only
Whatever
one
that is.
god left standing,
Okay.
which is not Odin. At the end of Revelations in Christianity, there are multiple gods left. Well, there are now new gods. Is how this thing was set up. And then there's Loki, who it would not surprise me would go through and fuck with everybody.
I mean, that's kind of his whole thing.
Because one of the translations to the trees that are at the end of Ragnarok
Fuck off. I'm not standing up. Comfortable.
that translates to roughly Adam and Eve.
If you plug that in, that's a heating pad.
I kind of figured. Nah, I'm good. It's just my knee that bugs me. Not so much my back today.
But I'll have to find it because it was kind of interesting. And about how Loki is the reason why Christianity and Norse mythology both end and begin. Because they kind of cycle through each other. And it was interesting.
You know, when I was in high school, I could do a perfect Stitch impersonation.
Okay.
Just a random fact about myself.
Which was that, 4 years ago?
No. I graduated in 2012, so.
You graduated a year after I got out of the army. I don't want to fucking hear it. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, it was 9th grade, 2009, when I could do a Stitch.
Motherfucker!
I could do a Stitch.
That's when I graduated.
Oh my god! You both are
I
killing
went with the years. So 2009, 9th grade. 2010, 10th grade. You know, so on and so forth. 2001, I was in 1st grade. Give this fucker a brain aneurysm.
I've never wanted to kill myself more.
Yeah, the live action is apparently bombing hard.
I've seen
Bad.
Does she really actually give Lilo up at the end? Yeah, it's bombing hard.
I left halfway through the movie like this was nothing like the cartoon. It was a waste of my
Lately
fucking
is
money.
supposed to be a very badly disguised alien dressed in drag.
Yeah.
He is not a very badly disguised alien dressed in drag.
And Jumbo was the bad guy. They didn't even have Captain Gantu in it at all.
Jumbo was supposed to be a not so evil genius.
I heard they couldn't even do a decent Russian accent.
No.
No, that's why
It sounded more German than it did Russian.
That's why they turned him evil. They actually turned him.
Although to be
evil.
fair,
Russian is a
the
hard
the
accent.
guy who did the original accent was David Ogden Stiers, who played Major Winchester from MASH. He died maybe like 10 years ago, so they couldn't get the original voice actor.
I guess that kind of makes sense.
That make-
yeah, but still, but the whole plot was fucking different. It's
Do
like,
you
why
know who
waste
they
your time?
did? Zach Galifianakis, the worst actor in Hollywood, to play Jumbo.
Now,
Yeah,
How to Train Your Dragon is supposed to be doing pretty okay.
yeah, I haven't seen.
There are
that.
some people pissed off about how Astrid is.
A white girl. Or
Well,
whatever.
she's a black girl, but Astrid isn't even in the original book, which is the original source material. She was added into the movies.
Oh, just like people complaining about the
Now-
girl who played fucking Lilo.
I'm pissed off for the How to Train Your Dragon over the twins. They look nothing like twins. From what people have been saying, those two have no chemistry on set. They have no chemistry in all their scenes. If you watched anything for How to Train Your Dragon,
Right.
the twins are supposed to be people constantly get rough and tough confused. Despite the fact that they are fraternal twins. But they're fraternal twins that are identical enough. I don't care about their lack there of blonde hair. They've taken out the Viking aspect.
See, that's my problem with them redoing a Viking show. And I'm not trying to sound racist. I'm not trying to sound that. But if you're doing a show on Vikings,
They took
they
the
gotta be white.
Well, they took the
There
Viking
were no black
aspect
Vikings
out.
at all.
They took that out.
Right?
They're
No,
not,
there were no black Vikings. And the thing is,
but that's why they got rid of.
not all
Vikings
Vikings
and
had blonde fucking hair.
I know. Like, that's. Yeah, they
Not
were,
all of them had blue eyes.
they weren't perfect Aryan race people. No.
No, they just happened to.
They were just white. They didn't have black colored skin. And I hate these DEI.
They would have, I mean, they would look like
but
me.
But from
Yeah.
what I have been.
I just hate these fucking
from
DEI hire actors.
What I have
Because you
heard.
have to have a black actor. No, you don't.
From what I heard, she did bring Astrid to life.
Which
in the
I'm
live
happy for.
action.
If you brought the character to life and you did the character justice,
I'm
Good
not. I'm not mad over Astrid. I'm mad
Although
over
the,
Rough
the
and Tough.
voice actor who played Astrid in the animated movies was America Fiera, who is Hispanic.
yeah, but still, the animation was still a white person.
Blonde hair, blue eyes. But everybody portrayed in the animated one was on par. Because not everybody looked like stoic.
Mm-hmm.
They had a variety of people. The show Vikings was probably as accurate as you could get. And
It's
that's
that
coming
Netflix show, right? That
no,
Viking?
the History Channel one.
Hulu, I think.
History Channel.
Oh, the history.
What was that one on Netflix about Vikings?
Can you be? It's on.
I
on
think
Netflix
there's,
right
like-
now, but it originated on the History Channel.
Okay.
It's called Vikings.
Yeah, because that was the one I seen on Netflix.
Um,
It's probably the same one.
there's a couple of them on there. The one about Ragnar Lothbrok
Yeah, that's the one.
that originated with
The History Channel?
the History Channel.
Okay. That was a damn good fucking series.
It's a. The timelines don't match up.
I don't read that far into it. I just look at like just the
'Cause
aspects of it as a TV
Catherine Winnick plays a shield maiden, and then some historian comes out and says, "No, there were no shield maidens."
Yeah,
That's
they were.
bullshit. There were shield maidens.
show. If you were a Viking,
only
you were
thing-
trained to fight.
The
Yes.
only thing a
There was
man
no-
did
There was no
that a
like,
woman
fucking-
did not, or the only thing a woman did that a man did not was handle finances because that was considered a witchcraft.
It's
Yeah,
still
like-
witchcraft.
That's why I'm doing it.
Yeah.
That's why I'm the one who controls
men
the budget.
and females were.
If you could fight, you fought.
Yeah, if you could hold a sword, you fought.
If you didn't want to fight,
Well, the
you
thing
didn't
is,
have to.
there was no such thing as a Viking.
A Viking was a
It-
job role.
No,
It was
there
just
was
a
not.
tight- just
No,
like
it-
kind of-
it
That was
a-
something-
applied to him.
That was something.
My husband went a Viking.
No, goddamn. That was something made up by the Anglos. The term Viking didn't come into play until like 400 years later. They were called Norsemen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Northmen.
Yeah.
Viking never existed until.
Fuck, I want to play Assassin's Creed now.
I hate you.
It's making me want to play Assassin's Creed, just like Assassin's Creed Odyssey. It makes me want to fucking play it.
Mine's the third one.
Odyssey.
I haven't played any of
Odyssey's my
Assassin's
favorite.
Creed.
I love fucking Greek mythology.
But Viking was never a title, never a profession. They were either called Danes, because a lot of them came from fucking Denmark,
Yeah.
or Norsemen,
Northmen.
or Northmen, because they came from the north.
Yep.
Viking was never a thing until the 1570s or 1580s or 1800s or whatever. I don't fucking remember. I'm sure somebody will fucking look at this later and correct me. I'm not looking it up right now. Fucking blow me.
Either way, the live action How to Train Your Dragon does not take place, so they don't call them Vikings. They've removed the term Viking.
In the animated one, they say Vikings.
Yes, but in the live action, they do not.
Well,
They
good.
did it so they shut people up about the lack thereof no black Viking. They did it to shut people up. Now I think
I
they're just
fucking
called.
hate Hollywood.
Now I think they're just called dragon hunters is what they're called.
Actually, if you look at it, it stretched from Denmark all the way to Kiev.
But even then,
That's how big their rule was.
Toothless, if you go back to the original source material, Toothless was the size of a terrible terror.
What?
Terrible terror.
The
The
fuck
size
is
of a
that?
cat. It's a dragon the size of a cat.
Okay, thank you for.
That's what Toothless.
When you say something and go, huh? It doesn't mean repeat that same term. It means explain it, please.
Toothless was originally only
Because
the
that's
size
where
of
the
a cat.
author got the inspiration from. Was this
No.
fucking cat?
The source material is a children's book. With Toothless being a dragon the size of a cat. The actual animations for Toothless has got some of the movements of a dog, some of the movements of a panther, some of the movements of just a plain ordinary house cat.
She's zooming in on you.
I can tell.
Maybe she secretly wants you. Stop messing with the camera.
That was me.
Her. She zoomed in and focused in on Anthony.
But either way,
Maybe I'm her next target. I don't know. I could only fucking hope.
honestly, I do wish that they would quit making live action animated movies. It's getting ridiculous. How many scripts do you have sitting in a vault somewhere that could be
More
made?
than you probably realize.
Can we re-release? What is it? Song of the South.
It'll never be re-released, unfortunately.
No, not the original version of it.
Yeah, let's re-release that. Let's piss off the left.
No, Alabama's Song of the South, the one that's released now, is the only one you're going to hear.
Let's re-release that movie. I have it on DVD.
I somehow don't doubt that.
It will never, there are certain ones that will never be
Just
re-released.
like country music from the 50s and 60s, you'll never hear those re-released.
Is that why you send them to me on TikTok?
I've heard them remastered.
Not the ones that have the N-word in there 1,000 different times.
Again,
For
is that
country
why
music,
you
that-
send them to me on
From the
TikTok?
50s and 60s? Oh, yeah.
When a white person says it, it's racist. But when a black person says it, it's perfectly okay. Explain the logic behind that.
There
I'm
isn't
not
any
black,
logic
so I can't.
Because
There-
according
there
to
is-
Merriam-Webster, it means ignorant person.
there is no logic behind why certain
Well,
words
if you
are.
buy newer dictionaries, the dictionary's been changed.
Pre-2008.
Yeah, it just means ignorant other. That's really the entire definition.
Pre-2008.
They've even updated the term CIS. CIS.
Confederacy of Independent Systems?
No, CIS as in somebody who identifies with their biological their biological.
Bullshit. It means
gender.
Confederacy of Independent Systems.
The original Latin phrase means to. It is not.
CIS means I just can't identify shit. Okay. So it's
See, I'm
fuck.
totally fine with that, but the problem is when
It's
you've got
Confederacy of Independent Systems.
when you've got the
It
trans
starts in episode
movement
1,
going
2, and
on,
3. And it goes into the Clone Wars.
That's why
Right?
it has been updated into the dictionary.
Yeah.
It's an acronym.
But if you look it up now, that's not what it means.
How about we stop changing shit? How about that? How about we let...
Stop sugarcoating shit. Let's
There we
start with
go.
there.
Yeah,
Something hurts your feelings? So sorry, so sad. Fucking deal with it.
yeah, that sounds like a lot of a you problem, not a me problem.
Yeah. Don't fucking make your problems the world's problems. Just because you're a fucking guy who wanted to
There
dress
are
up like a fucking
only
girl doesn't mean it's my
1% that
problem.
actually want to that actually identify as trans, and only about half of that 1% actually make it somebody else's problem. The other half just wants to go through, get their therapy, get their hormones, get their fucking surgeries if necessary, and call it a fucking day.
Well, maybe the painter was right.
Maybe. Who knows what would happen if he was accepted into art school?
Yeah. Maybe the Vienna Art School should have never rejected him. Imagine what the world would be like without him.
Well, what do you think would have happened if that World War I British soldier would have actually shot him?
I don't know.
Unfortunately, he's a fixed point in time in history.
Yeah. I tell you what, though. He could give a fucking speech.
Oh, yeah.
God, yes. He's the greatest orator of the fucking 20th century.
Oh, yeah. Just listening to him, it just, like, gets my fucking adrenaline pumping. Be like, fuck yeah.
I sent you the translated ones, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just, like, listening to me, whether it's translated or in
German or English.
it just gets your adrenaline pump. You're like, fuck yeah.
People who are born with silver tongues are dangerous.
And
It
golf was one.
depending on how they use their power, you could actually have what happened in the 40s, or you
I had an
could-
entire Air Force maintenance section convinced that my great uncle was Adolf Hitler in Iraq.
See, that's just stupidity.
Oh no, I was very convincing because when I had hair, I had the little mustache. It was very thin, and I look a lot like Adolf Hitler.
Actually, now that you think about it, yeah, you kind of did. You kind of did look like a younger version of him. That name is actually banned in Germany now.
Yes,
Adolf?
because
Yeah.
yeah.
You cannot name your kid Adolf.
The Germans are incredibly picky about that portion of their history.
See, what's
Kind of like the
funny-
Japanese are incredibly picky about 1932 to 1945.
Yeah.
You know, all
Same
the war
thing with the
crimes that they-
Italians. They're less picky, but they're still pretty picky about the 30s and 40s.
Oh yeah, you can't really name somebody Benito, or say El Duce.
The UK is actually the
Although-
EU in general is the only place you have to actually register a name for pre-approval before you can name your kid.
Because
Although,
the EU is not free.
The US
Mussolini was a little bitch, though.
with
he
the
fought
US, you
pretty
can name
quick.
your kid whatever the fuck you want to name them.
You think?
I'm just saying.
He lost against a bunch of skinnies.
I mean, the Italian military back then really wasn't all that great.
No.
Uh,
Their
no,
military in general was
They
good.
just didn't have the
Their
good leaders.
leadership
Their leadership
sucked. And that's coming from one of the greatest military minds ever produced, and that was Erman fucking Rommel.
Rommel. Oh, what's the other dude's name?
Which one? Do you want me to start naming them off? Guderian.
Grobel, I think his name.
Goebbels was the head of propaganda.
He was still pretty fucking smart.
Goebbels was a fucking pedophile.
Okay. Despite what he did, the way he fucking ran the propaganda was pretty fucking good.
Yes.
A lot of Adolf's inner circle was actually really fucking good at their job.
And who was the first grammar Nazi?
His first grammar Nazi?
Yes.
I have no idea.
Martin Bormann. Literally edited. He literally edited Mein Kampf, making him the first grammar Nazi.
I mean, yeah.
That would, by definition, make him a grammar Nazi.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of stuff, when I was going through my grandpa's stuff, my grandma, a couple years ago before she passed, was telling me that she found a bunch of pictures with a name on the back of it, and she threw them away anyway. They're fucking pictures and stuff of fucking Heinrich Himmler.
She had Himmler's shit?
Pictures of him, yes. I was like, why the fuck? Like, no. Like, you threw away shit about Himmler?
I mean, Himmler was this 5'6", 4-eye little
Piece of shit human being.
piece
but
of shit
still.
human being.
It's like,
But it's still Himmler.
it's like whether you had stuff from Hitler, you know, fucking Goring, Rommel, any fucking high-ranking Nazi official like that.
Don't put Rommel in with the Nazis, because
What?
Rommel actually never joined the Nazi party.
He was just controlled by him.
No. Rommel was actually, believe it or not, Rommel, his wife joined the Nazi party. Rommel never did.
Oh, okay.
After the invasion of Poland in 1939, Rommel pissed off Himmler because Himmler made the SS to be Hitler's personal bodyguard. Guess who escorted Hitler's victory? Was ist das?
Are you okay?
The olive oil fell. Benito Mussolini had just attacked.
Yeah, he heard me calling him a pussy.
The SS was supposed to be the personal bodyguard and escort to Adolf Hitler through Berlin after the successful invasion of Poland in 1939 / 1940.
Let me guess, it didn't happen like that.
Didn't happen. Rommel and Rommel's division was pissed off Heinrich Himmler. That's what started it.
Not Henrik. Heinrich.
What I say?
Heinrich. You said Henrik. Heinrich.
How many of these have I had? Too many.
Enough.
So, invasion of France happens in 1940, right?
The Rommel stampedes his way all the way to Paris.
7th Panzer Division stampedes.
What was the
Rommel
first Tour de
pisses
France
off
victory?
Guderian because he outflanks Guderian and gets there first.
It's alright, fucking be better at your job.
Yeah.
Rommel was a great military tactician. I guarantee you, some of the stuff still used today, whether it's American, British, or whatever, derived from it. Rommel's tactics.
Yeah.
I guarantee it. Same thing with
Don't get me wrong, it came from Guderian as well, because Guderian took from
a lot of shit.
Percy
came from
Hobart's book.
Nazi tactics, because they were very good at what they were doing.
Oh, beautifully.
It's just when he decided to go into Russia is when
That
he started-
bungled the entire fucking operation. If
If
Hitler,
he stayed out of Russia,
if Hitler stayed with the Ribbentrop-Molotov Act, the world would be a very different place.
Very different Europe. Very fucking different. Guarantee it. World War II would have went a completely different route. Just saying.
Japan hadn't touched our boats, it would have gone a very different route too.
Speaking of which, if Mussolini if Hitler could have controlled Mussolini, and Mussolini would have went to Adolf Hitler and said, "Hey, I want to go to the Japanese and make the Tripartite Act and bring Japan in on our allies," Hitler would have said, "Abso-fucking-lutely not."
No. No, because the Japanese were very short-sighted. They didn't see the long-term effects of what they were doing.
Because
Hence,
it was
Pearl fucking Harbor.
because Mussolini talked to Tojo. Tojo was like, "Yeah, absolutely, I can fucking win this." Hitler
It was like, no, you fucking cannot.
would have talked to Yamamoto.
Yeah. And Yamamoto
Was like, "Yeah, I can
was
guarantee."
already-
Yamamoto was like, "Yeah, I can guarantee victory for 6 months, and then we're gonna start getting their asses kicked."
Yeah.
Hitler said, "Nope, I'm not doing it."
Because Yamamoto knew right before the fucking attack of Pearl Harbor, he knew it was a bad idea.
Oh, fuck yeah.
110%.
Because his quote was, "I fear all I have done was awaken a sleeping giant with a great resolve." And I'm sure I fucked
Something
up
like that.
Something like that. Empire.
Same basic point.
Because between December 7, 1941 and June 4th to the 6th, 1942 is 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
That's Pearl Harbor to Midway.
Yeah. And what the fuck happened at Midway?
They got their asses kicked. The
Yeah.
Aikido Butai, which is their premier aircraft carrier force, Hiryu, Akagi, and Kaga, their four
Got
biggest
absolutely
carriers,
fucking-
got fucking wrecked.
Yeah.
We lose one carrier, and that was Yorktown.
They thought they assumed we lost another one because they thought they sunk the Enterprise, like for the upteenth trillion time.
They thought they sunk the Hornet.
I mean, the Hornet and the Enterprise, they thought they sunk multiple times. Never
Because, they thought they sunk the Yorktown at, not Santa Cruz, Coral Sea. Because we lost to Lexington at Coral Sea. And Yorktown was heavily damaged. And by the time she limped back into Pearl Harbor, the dock worker said, "We need 6 months, and then she's going to need dry dock at Bremerton, Washington, for another 6 months."
They thought she was going to be out for at least a year to
Yeah.
2 years.
So by the time she gets at Point Luck, we literally named it Point fucking Luck at Midway. They had dock workers still working on her. And here's the fucked up part. So you have Midway, the two movies, right? You have the two movies, Midway in 1977 and Midway in like 2023?
I think it was 23.
23?
Both not bad movies, might I add.
Right. Very good movies. The one in the newest one actually shows the naval exercises that took place before the Battle of Midway for the Japanese. And it's fucking hilarious that the junior officers beat Nagumo, the Japanese Admiral Nagumo, when they surprise him with the American carriers coming out of Pearl Harbor beforehand and surprising him, guess where? Right where we were. And Yamamoto comes in and says, "Nope, you're going to do it this way because there's no way that they're going to break our code." Guess what happens? The junior officers were fucking 100%
Broke
correct.
the fucking code.
Broke the fucking code. Our carriers were right where they were. The junior officers protected, and guess what fucking happens? They sink all four of the Aikido Butai.
Mm-hmm.
If Yamamoto would have been more flexible, the outcome at Midway would have been vastly different. If Nagumo would have been didn't have a thorn up his fucking ass, things would have been different.
That's like the majority of the Japanese Navy, though.
a thorn up their ass.
Yeah. Because it had like this specific way of doing things, specific code of honors. Like,
They're
guess
very
where they got it
rigid,
from?
Very.
The Royal Navy.
somehow I can see that.
If you look at all the Royal Navy battles during World War II, they're very predictable because they have that code of honor, because they're gentlemanly. If you look at the United States Navies during fucking World War II,
It's
it's
like,
like,
okay, you're gonna do that. Well, we're just gonna
we're
go
gonna do something a
fucking
little
this.
bit different, motherfucker.
Yeah, we're gonna go do this, and if you counter that, we're gonna go to fucking plan B, C, D, and E.
Because we got our teeth cut into us, as in the United States Navy, at Iron Bottom Sound, which was Savile Island, off the coast of Guadalcanal. It was a slug match. The Japanese come in with destroyers, we come in with cruisers. We sink their destroyers, they come in with the cruisers, sink their destroyers. Finally, Ching Lee comes in with the fucking Washington with fucking radar and says, yep, nope, I'm using nighttime tactics against them. They're going to use optics, I'm using radar. They're going to use old school shit, I'm using technology. Okay, fine. Fuck you.
Yep. And then comes the Iowa class battleships.
The Iowas actually never fired a shot in anger against another ship.
Where's news?
I am dead fucking
I
serious.
thought the Iowas
Nope.
actually had a fucking.
The last time a battleship...
Were they that fucking scary they were avoided?
Yes. The South
Alright.
Dakota class was the last ships, the last of the fast battleships to actually fire in
Was
anger.
that the. Like the USS Arizona and all that?
No. Arizona was the Pennsylvania class. Pennsylvania was the sister ship to the Arizona. She got her revenge at Surigao Strait in 1944
Where they use like gun barrels?
against
or
the
something?
Musashi.
Okay. So they used parts of the Arizona too.
Parts of her guns went to Nevada,
Okay.
which is kind of funny because a couple days later, Yamato shows up a couple hundred miles to the south and starts hammering Taffy 3, where you have the USS Johnson and I forgot the little destroyer escort's name off the top of my head, where you have a bunch of destroyers and destroyer escorts and a bunch of carrier escorts against the Musashi, pretty much. But it was Surigao Strait that turned back the largest battleships in the world.
Speaking of battleships, can you imagine what our Navy would be like if we had Montana class right now?
It would be vastly different because it would take off the last turret and throw in VLS.
Which is fine. You still got what?
9 16-inch guns compared
That's
to 12.
still a lot of fucking firepower. So what? We throwing VLS. Big deal.
I need something what pisses me off and is that we're no longer going to have cruisers.
No, the Tycos are going bye-bye. We're going to frigates now, the Constellation class.
We'll have cruisers and destroyers and frigates.
And God willing, LCSs are going bye-bye too. Waste of fucking money. Just like the fucking Zumwalt.
The LCS, I can understand the concept behind.
Just give the LCS the fun Coast Guard. They're out designed to operate in the shallower waters. Give them to the fucking Coast Guard. Coast Guard could use them. They got the fucking, what? Is it the 4-inch barrel? 4-inch gun?
76 millimeter.
76 millimeter.
3.5 inch.
3.5 inch. I was plus 4 inch. They still got the fucking 76 millimeter gun on it. You can still land helicopters on them. They're probably, maybe, I don't know, I haven't seen the operational cost. Would they be cheaper to maintain than a fucking cutter?
Only problem is they're aluminum.
No, the rest of the cutter's steel.
But then you have specialized cutters for ice breaking duties.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying fucking send those LCSs up to Antarctica and see if they'll cut through the ice because they'll fucking sink. Those well, what is it? Like 2 mile thick ice shit they cut through? They'll fucking slice through that aluminum like butter.
You know how thick the ice gets in the Great Lakes?
No.
3 feet.
3 feet? That's
It gets pretty fucking thick.
yeah, that'll slice through aluminum like nothing.
Uh-huh.
So obviously steel for that. Oh, speaking of the Great Lakes, I seen a Facebook post on looking for concrete workers to build locks to go from Lake Superior to Lake Huron. Isn't the
That's what the Sioux locks are
yeah.
for.
Are they just like fucking expanding it, or
I haven't seen anything
why
like
would
that.
they be fucking building?
But they could be
locks?
expanding another lock. Because there's a limit on how big shipping is in the Great Lakes, lengthwise and width.
Right.
Just like Panama and the Suez. So with shipping, because a lot of shipping on the Great Lakes,
It's one of the busiest shipping channels in the world.
it's the busiest. Because in order to get your iron and coal and whatever else, it comes from
Wisconsin, right?
Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Minnesota or Wisconsin actually doesn't touch Lake Superior. Minnesota does. All your iron and coal actually comes from Duluth and Twin Falls.
Excuse me.
Okay. Is that where the Fitzgerald was coming from? I know it was coming from over there back to here.
Maybe it is coming from Wisconsin. I think there's a no. It's coming from Minnesota.
Either way.
But actually, the MacArthur lock was lengthened because of the Fitz. Because the Fitz at the time was the largest vessel on the Great Lakes at 725 feet. So they had to lengthen the MacArthur lock, and the MacArthur lock is the biggest on the Great Lakes. And right now the Paul Arctic Eartha is at 1,010 feet. Called it.
You just bombed nuclear sites.
Did I not say yesterday? I fucking called it.
I'm not saying anything.
We just bombed Iran.
I called it.
Four down, Natanz, and S5.
I kind of figured that they were that it was going to happen because they wanted to go through and they wanted to fuck
The
around
strikes were
and
carried
find
out by
out.
B-1 Lancer bombers. Of course, the fastest fucking ones in our fleet.
If you heard it, it wasn't meant for you.
Anyways,
Anyway.
going back to the Sioux locks. The biggest ship on the Great Lakes right now is the Paul Arctic Eartha. Lengthwise, 1,010 feet. And I think 50, 60 feet wide. Maybe 75 feet wide. Displacing more than a Nimitz-class carrier.
Right. That's pretty fucking heavy.
Yeah, she's a big bitch.
Big bitch is understatement. That's a fucking beached whale.
Have you ever seen her?
I've probably seen pictures.
Like,
It's
close.
Up close, no.
I haven't... Okay, so...
I seen one going through port. I don't know which one it was, but it was a big bitch going through Port Huron on Thursday. It's a big ass ship.
I've seen them all.
Like this one I was looking at, it was like 3 or 4 football fields long. Like this bitch was huge.
You can tell by the boom. The unloader is 300 feet.
Okay.
So you take that unloader, the crane, and measure it 3 times. That's your length.
It was probably 2, maybe.
That's 600 feet.
It was pretty fucking big.
So you can do it 3 times. That's 900 feet. Plus you get the pilot house. That's 1,000
Yeah.
feet.
It was fucking big.
There's advantage of growing up in the Great Lakes. You learn all this shit.
Season 4 Ship Heroes due out in July.
Nice. We gotta finish season 3.
We have finished season 3.
Oh.
We're
But,
waiting for season
there's been talk about making bigger ships on the Great Lakes. Because even the Paul Arctic Eartha is over 20 years old. And where the pilot house is now is the modern design. Most of the ships you see in the Great Lakes have the pilot house in the front and then the engineer station in the rear. Those ships are over 50 fucking years old.
Right. Isn't the pilot house in the rear now?
Yeah, the pilot house is in the rear and then everything else is steered that way. And what they're doing is they're taking the older ships, they're cutting them off and putting the barge in the back and just moving them. But those ships they're only like 600 feet long, which by comparison to a 1,000-footer isn't that long. And they don't really carry that much. It's mostly dry goods like wheat and concrete and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
But their biggest concern is moving in salties.
It's never actually written on the round.
What?
In Hollywood, when you've seen people who've written a name on a bullet,
It's written on
they
the casing.
always write it on the casing. They never write it on the round.
So a salty is exactly what it sounds like. It's a saltwater vessel. And that's actually what killed the Great Lakes as an ecosystem over the past
Saltwater.
60 years. Are saltwater vessels coming in and dumping their bilge out.
The red tail that crashed in the Great Lakes. A lot of
The P-39 Air Cobra. Zebra mussels.
the zebra mussel degraded a lot of that aircraft because zebra mussels are an invasive species.
They want to expand on the Sulaks because they want more seagoing vessels that come in and out, but there's a lot of people who are native to the Great Lakes regions and the St. Lawrence Seaway that said no.
It's destroyed a lot of the native fish because the native fish can't eat the zebra mussels.
It's not only that, it's lampreys,
Yep.
which are a Black Sea region,
Yep.
and the gobies.
Yep.
You have 3 or 4 different invasive species that,
They don't have a natural predator.
and it's not just the Great Lakes, it's the tributaries as well. Because they get into the streams and rivers and they kill off every fucking thing.
I mean,
And
he was got cocaine abuse.
I'm not worried about cocaine hippos. I could care low. I don't give a shit about Colombia. Okay? Because there was a report in the early 2000s, maybe it was the mid 2000s, that basically said no matter what you do, if you get rid of all the zebra mussels, the lampreys, any invasive species, the Great Lakes will never go back to where it was before.
The only way for it to go back to the way it was before would be to not only get rid of all the invasive species, but we need to shut down shipping entirely.
Nope. Not even if you shut it down.
You would have to get rid of humanity in order for the
No.
Great Lakes to
Even
go
if
back.
humanity was eradicated from the planet, the Great Lakes water system is done for. Gotta go?
Yeah, I'm gonna go home and go to bed.
Okay.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah, we've been on here for
probably
3.5
end it.
hours, so
Alright,
we're gonna end it.
Night, y'all. I'm gonna hopefully do this. Alright, good night, everybody.